It's Thursday morning, and that means the weekend is just around the corner. A good morning to you, cherished viewers. You are welcome to the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host for today, Ayura Auno. We're coming to you live from the studios of Clock TV, and you can also catch us on Go TV channel 184. And if you're not in the comfort of your home, you can join us via social media on Facebook and on YouTube. Just search for Clock TV GH, like, share, and subscribe to our pages across all platforms, and then join in the Koko Digest Morning Show live stream. Now, here's what to expect for today, as we're going to be extending our newspaper review segments as the online and print review, as we call it, two names. And we're going to be extending that, as I said, and it's going to be very interactive. So please stay tuned for that. The phone lines are going to be open. You can also send your comments to our WhatsApp number that will be displayed subsequently onto your screens. Business, sports, and of course, the main segment will be bringing you news as always. And then the lifestyle segment will be giving us a conversation on bedwetting. So everything we need to know about bedwetting, whether it's bedwetting in adults, children, infants, when it is cause for alarm, and of course, when it is also not a problem. So please do stay tuned for that. For now, let's get ready to be motivated for today. You're welcome back. As we like to do here, we motivate ourselves every Tuesday and Thursday morning. We motivate our viewers as well. And today's quote is coming from Henry Ford. And he says, "Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success." Coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. And working together is success. Now, this quote breaks teamwork into 3 stages. So the first one is coming together, where people unite. That is the starting point. Keeping together is where they stay united despite challenges, and that is what brings growth. And then working together is actively collaborating to achieve results, and that is what brings us success. It shows that success is not just about forming a team, but about maintaining unity and actively cooperating. So this goes to all of us out there, every team that's out there. We need to come together, stay together, and actively work together despite our differences and our challenges. And I'm sure that this quote is very motivational for us today as we embark on our daily lives. Whatever sphere we find ourselves in, we need to make sure to come together, stay together, and work together. Up next is the online and print review, but for now, let's enjoy this beautiful song. You've been quiet, but welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, it's time for our online and print review. But before that, Peter will take us through the weather report for today. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, everyone.
I hope you're well.
I'm grateful. Divine selection.
Yes, looking very sharp.
Thank you. You also, let me finish with the weather report too. Right. Good morning to you, cherished viewers, and many thanks for joining us as always. It's time for the weather report, and this is from the Ghana Meteorological Agency 24-hour forecast for Ghana. It should be on your screen by now. Today, GMET is saying that mist and fog patches will form over a few coastal as well as parts of the forest and mountainous areas this morning, with partly cloudy conditions prevailing elsewhere. And so this morning, Aflao, Accra, Kaswa, Cape Coast, it's partly cloudy in these areas. And for the northern sector, the northern part from Yendi, Tamale to Wa, it's also partly cloudy this early morning. And then for the people of Koforidua, Akemoda, Kumasi, Obuasi, and Takwa, you're experiencing mist and fog patches this early morning. And then as it progresses into the afternoon, the people of Aflao and Accra, Kaswa, and Cape Coast should expect sunny intervals. It is going to be very scorchy as always. But for the people of Takrady, who Axim, Koforidua, Akemoda, Kumasi, there's a 30% chance of showers or rain this afternoon at these places. So the people within these places should take note as well. But for the people of Obuasi and Kumasi, it is going to be sunny as well, with the temperature ranging from 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. The people of Takwa and Sefibekwai, there is a 30% chance of rain this afternoon. There's a 30% chance of rain. And the people of Goso and Techima and Yendi as well, there's a 30% chance of rain this afternoon. And so the people within these areas should take note and act accordingly. The northern sector remains sunny, with the temperature ranging from 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. It means it's going to be very, very scorchy. And so, as usual, whenever it's scorchy, GMET advises that you reduce your exposure to the sun, carry umbrellas, and take in more water as well. And so, as the day also progresses into the evening, the people of Aflao, Accra, Kaswa, Cape Coast should expect partly cloudy weather. And for the people of Kumasi and Obuasi as well, there's the possibility of rain showers this evening. There's a 40% chance of rain. And the people of Ketekrachi, Kintampo, Goso, Sunyani, Techiman, there's also 40% chance of rain this evening. And the people there should take note and act accordingly. But the northern sector remain partly cloudy this evening as well. And so GMET advises that you take you take the necessary measures to avoid being found culpable in any of the weather. And so this afternoon, the sun continues, especially here in Accra. But for the people within Takrady, Akemoda, and its environs, GMET says they should expect some showers of rain. But here in Accra and in the northern region, it is going to be very scorchy.
Wow, okay, thank you so much. We seem to be running shifts. As yesterday, we got some showers in the morning, and now they're telling us the sun will be up. Well, please do well to take note and also act accordingly, as Peter said. So, getting on into the word of the day, the word of today is adaptability. Adaptability. And adaptability simply means the ability to adjust to new conditions. Are you adaptable? Do you easily adjust to new conditions? Now, the simple meaning for adaptability is flexibility to change. So if something happens and you need to, change I think there's a saying like that, if you can't beat them, just join them. Yes. Well, my co-hosts are here with me. We'll hear from them very shortly. We've already met with Peter, and then the evergreen Beverly Nanoville is also here with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Yaya.
How are we doing?
You're doing great. Yourself?
I'm well, thank you. Everybody's looking very beautiful today.
Thank you. I got the inspiration from you,
Anyway, thanks to you.
Yeah. My outfit was made by Josephine.
Okay.
Actually, later in the show, I'm going to put her details out.
Sure. Josephine has done an amazing job this morning.
And I want to thank producers and management because I'm blessed. Every day I have these beautiful ladies, and it inspires me though. I mean, it inspires me. I don't want to continue.
Right. So we were talking about, I just gave the meaning of adaptability, and I want to find out, both of you, are you adaptable?
Well, I would say as humans, it's very important and very necessary. It is necessary that as time goes on in life, change, they say, is the only constant thing in life. So as human, you're supposed to adapt to any condition so you can survive. Yeah.
True. Yes, Peter. Do you have any bars for us?
Something like that. But then I say I adapt every day as a Ghanaian, and with our current situation, you are used to light. So when the light goes off, it means, or when it goes out, it means you are adapting.
That's for that one. I'm never able to adapt. I can't.
We adapt every day.
The heat.
So what do you do? What do you do when the light goes off?
I become very angry and very irritable. I can't.
I become very.
I
don't want to use the word useless, but because it's like most of the activities we do is basically electricity. Our phones, our televisions, like everything that would help us, to get information.
Dependent on electricity.
So people become motivational speakers. Whenever the light goes, so that's where you see people. You'll be forced to do something. So you just pick your phone and try to motivate some people.
Please, as for the one, it will not work.
When your phone is off, Peter, how would you
see, because most people are used to it, they charge their phones more often. You just be truthful to us. You've charged your power bank, right?
My power bank is on charge at the moment.
You understand? And
you've not experienced a situation where your power bank is off, your phone is off, and you, the human being, you become useless at a point.
It means that you are not adapting. For now, with the current situation, it means that you have to adapt. And adaptation means that you prepare ahead of time.
That's proactivity.
Proactivity.
You understand?
Yeah.
And so now people are buying. I think I have to start selling
power banks. Oh, you make a lot of profits.
Well, that's adapting to the current economy. So now moving on, the synonyms or the words similar in meaning to adaptability, we have flexibility and also we have versatility. So someone who is adaptable is flexible. And this is not in the context of physical flexibility, even though it may work. But this context is that they are able to, try to gear themselves towards whatever change they face. Then the words that are opposite in meaning, we have rigidity, so stiff, unchanging, unyielding. Then we have inflexibility. So these are the two words that are opposite in meaning to adaptability. We hope that your vocabulary has been enriched, and we will do a new word next week, so please do stay tuned for that. Now, online and print review segment has begun. What have we picked up on the streets of Accra in the global village?
A lot. I have about 3 trends to talk about this morning.
Okay, please take us away.
So we'll start with the Ghana Police Service.
Okay.
There was a press release on SIPME, which was a few days ago. So Ghana Police Service declared Prince Kra wanted for murder, and they are rewarding 100,000 to anyone that finds this person. Someone may ask, what at all has he committed? So the Ghana Police Service. Let me go straight into the press release. So the Ghana Police Service has declared suspect Prince Kra, aged about 30, wanted in connection with the murder of 2 persons at Saki near Temagov City on the 1st of May 2026. Now, police investigations indicate that the suspect Kra had been living in a chamber and hall apartment with a couple, Ebenezer Kwabena Obri, aged 45, and the partner Mary Nim, aged 22, who were both found dead in their room with multiple machete wounds. So, according to Ghana Police Service, this particular security service military guy has murdered or butchered. Let me say butchered a man and a woman and had fled.
So the couple were squatting with the man.
Exactly. Exactly. And I asked myself, what at all have they done to you for you to go to this far extent of butchering your fellow human being?
It's very sad, but I'm sure
as of now, investigations are ongoing, so we are yet to find out. But for now, they are looking for the suspect. They're looking for him. That's all.
Well, these days, the way there's a lot of strife and stress, a lot of people would say that they are on edge. So you'd see that the tiniest of issues become so exacerbated into very big problems, and it's only after your frustration has been vented that you realize that, okay, you went too far. Because we see a lot of that happening even in our neighboring countries. And it seems to be a norm. So you even tend to hear that when they come here, they say, Ghana is very calm. Everybody's just so chill and no sense of urgency or, because for them, there's so much. So even though we have a fair amount of that as well, you realize that it's something that's happening. Because even with the story of the man who was beating his wife, beat her to that level where she was, naked in public and all of that, you probe into the issue and you find out that it may not have been an issue that warranted that much reaction.
But this morning, another angle I would like us to look is that this particular person happens to be a military officer.
Man,
that's one thing. Because these people are supposed to be protecting us, and if you are supposed to be protecting us, you are butchering us. Then it means you are not safe as a country. Honestly.
So, I mean, in as much as we don't know the cause of it, we are May, and they say May is a mental health awareness month. Like Yaira rightly said, some of the things that we hear, at the end of the day, there are trivial issues that cause these, inhumane activities and all that. And we can also link it to mental health as well. Sometimes you might think you're okay, but then I saw a video and it was funny that we talk about mental health and we look far away, but it's then close to us. So the man cited an example that you buy a new phone and you're so obsessed with it that even the box, you don't want to throw it away. It's in your room. It's mental, like it's.
But then again, I also counter the fact that some of the military personnel during their recruitment processes, they pass through some tests just to examine their their well-being before even entering the services. So honestly, this is not the first time we've heard stories like this, especially like a military or security personnel trying to harm people. We saw during the elections how some of these security personnel were even treating civilians, journalists, and others as well.
So you see, with this one, we can't draw conclusions to it since investigation
we can only make speculations.
Exactly, and so when you made mention of they going through a whole lot before they even pass out as military personnel. So the question we should be asking is that how often does these orientation, like mental, how often does it go? Is it once? So last week I cited an example that imagine someone who was recruited into the Ghana National Fire Service somewhere in 2001, and since that time there has not been any major training and what have you. That person is still in service till now. So we should be asking how often does institutions like this take their personnel into some form of mental I don't know the right word to use, but how often do they take them through those activities and all that to ensure that they are they are stable, they are the same people they employed some years back, because some of these things, they are not predictable, they are unforeseen. You understand?
Right.
But whatever the situation may be, it doesn't warrant that. It's alleged. It doesn't warrant that sort of inhuman activity from.
But with these people, these security officers and personnel, we tend to realize that they also try. For most of them, they try to intimidate people, try to enforce that authority and so-called discipline in people. So you realize that even growing up, I'm sure all of us, when you hear the word sojaman,
you run.
They tell you slaps, you get slapped, you'll be slapped right now, all of that. And it seems to be something that's still out there. That's the notion or the prejudice about them. And for the number of people who tend to behave that way, we see that every day, as you even mentioned with the police or even the military personnel during the elections, how they were treating people, all of that just to create a sense of fear, to revere them or to fear them in order to make people fall in line. And so now another question is that where do they draw the line?
Exactly.
Because this couple may have felt like, okay, maybe we are familiar, and then maybe they crossed the boundary they didn't even know of, and now they have been butchered.
That is even questionable. Why? I don't know who is squatting with who and all that. Couple and, in the same space, it's not advisable. Not as much as we look out for the probability, what might have triggered whatever that has happened. Looking at the situation, a couple squatting with it's.
Are we sure it was the couple that was squatting with him or he was squatting?
Either ways.
But Peter, so, the people's conditions in this life,
but
very unimaginable.
But
so if you say it's not advisable, maybe both parties coming together is what will pay for the rent, and their money. It's not something to be amused about though. But this is the reality on ground, and we've heard of even people, about 4 different people sharing one bedroom. People are in all kinds of conditions at this point. So as much as yes, it's not the best, it is still the reality. And this proximity to other people sometimes causes, there's always, even at home with your siblings, there's always going to be some misunderstanding. But obviously there needs to be a line drawn, and then the mental health evaluation should also come into play.
And then if all the military people are battling mental health, and that would be that would be tragic.
It's not necessarily that they are battling any mental health problems, but it could also be, you see, the mental health issue or conversation is broader than that. So as a military personnel, he probably expects a form of fear around, in the people around him, right? And then now they've realized that, he's a cool guy, and how Ghanaians tend to be sometimes. You give them a little space and then they want to. So this is not to even blame anybody, but I'm just trying to say that sometimes maybe he created a certain sense of, authority, and maybe it may have been crossed. And these people like to create that so that they wouldn't be taken advantage of and all of that. So that is also something that should be discussed in the mental health conversation, that why do you so badly need that so-called respect from everybody? Why won't you just treat people as humans, and then also they reciprocate, but you want to suppress them or oppress them just because you are in a particular position? Now this is where this position has landed you. You may, if he's caught, obviously he may be stripped of all his, that is if he is truly the culprit, he may be stripped of all his ranks and qualifications and all of that, and probably put in jail. Now, where has that respect and fear he may have wanted to, acquire from people, where has it led him?
But so in as much as we talk about the respect and the fact that that profession would always want people to revere them or fear them, most of them are not like that. It's just a section of people.
The bad nut destroys the whole soup.
Exactly. But you see, I made a point. I still want to stress on that point, that if that should be the case, it means that we have to look at the conditions of service of our people. This man in question is a military man. He serves the country. So if it is that his conditions of service is no good, and that he cannot rent a place for himself, and he would have to squat with a couple.
And the thing is that we haven't been even told what relation like he has with a couple.
Maybe they were visiting or something.
Even with that, it's not advisable. You made mention of family. Yes, I understand that sometimes even family there's misunderstanding, but there's something we call love, that bond. It wouldn't.
There's a thin line between love and hate. If you don't know, I'm telling you, Peter.
I understand, but one wouldn't go to that extent, no matter what. You know, people that share rooms are like boys, the girls. But once you marry, I know some group of boys that, you know, you can be sharing a room, but once you get yourself into a relationship or something of that sort, that is when you have to start distancing yourself, because that thing causes a whole lot.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
true.
for a whole couple to be in that, it means that there's a whole lot to discuss. And as we await for the investigation,
You're
what
just
probably
hoping,
caused it, we will know where to draw the line.
So we'll put a pin in this story. When we get more information on it, then we'll, you know, be able to get our facts straight and no longer speculate. So Beverly, you mentioned that you had a lot of trends.
A lot, Oyera. Over the weekend, there's this group of people, the Caribbean Carnival Kingdom, and last week was another. It was a maiden edition actually, and it happened last week. I think they started the march from the Independence Square throughout the way to Labadi Beach, and the Cultural Fest blends Caribbean. Okay, let me read the press conference from the Catholic Fest, then we go into the conversation. So there's a press release from the National Catholic Secretariat, Office of the President. Statement from the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Carnival Carnival Kingdom Festival. So the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference has taken note of the public nudity at the Carnival Kingdom Festival on April 22nd to April 28th, which happened like last week thereabouts, during which participants received police protection. The event was an so I don't want to go much into it, but let me just say a brief of what the carnival is about. So the Catholics are angry for the fact that these people are giving us a culture that is not of our own. Why should we be exposing part of our body? That's what they're against. They claim it's against our culture as Ghanaians, and they're not happy. They're not so happy that this is being, how do you call this? It's been adopted into our culture. That is not what we are known for. That's what they are saying. And I tend to ask myself this question: if you don't want us to, people shouldn't participate in this culture. I just went back to this culture. Is it that I didn't say no? It's not Chokosi. Depot, right? We have a culture that people express or they show their nudity. They literally show their breasts. I happen to be from a Dagbe community, so I know how these things work. They just tie this little wrapper in between their legs, and then they are naked. They are walking on the street, broad daylight. So if these people have come to launch their maiden edition and you are telling them that it's against the lands of the rules of our country, and then when you go on social media, a lot of people are talking. A lot of people.
Right. You know, the world has become a global village, and we have gotten to the point where different cultures are, exported into different nations.
Right.
And as much as, yes, based on religious or other cultural factors, there are certain things that are deemed acceptable and unacceptable. Even mentioning the depot rights, you realize that with the introduction of Christianity and all of that, it is no longer as mainstream as it would have been, or it used to be pre-colonial era, but it's still ongoing. And like you said, even with the depot rights, it's happening in a community. Limited to that community. Same way the carnival. I'm not justifying the carnival in any way, because if we also take our depot, our homo, our chokosi, our indigenous traditional cultural rights and celebrations out there into different countries, if we also get to hear whatever comments they make about it, we may not necessarily be happy, but we need to also consider the fact that this is the culture of one nation or the other. And I was also going back to say that this carnival was confined to a certain area.
That is the Trinidad and Tobacco. That's around South America.
No, I'm even talking about when it was here. You said from the Independence Square to about Labadi or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was the catchment area where this carnival was ongoing. Now, we may talk about maybe protecting our kids, all of that. So as it's confined there, if you are in Makola, you will not see it. No. You would only get to see it when you go there, and also on social media where there are videos and all of that there. So even as you mentioned in the press release that there was also police protection for them, right? So as it is ongoing and it's happening in a confined area, I personally don't think that they had done anything wrong. And then also, if there is a problem, if they had infringed on anybody's rights, they had done, anything that oppresses anybody or prevents anybody from living freely or, be in that area, let's say, just like the way when we have the presidential motorcade moving, all the cars need to, and then they have to stop for a bit. This carnival most likely did not do any of that to the people in those communities. They were probably even welcoming of people to come and enjoy the display. Albeit that, yes, the nudity may be an issue for a lot of people because we tend to also be conservative about our own, bodies and all of that. But we also need to be a little more accepting of certain things. They have not come to say that, okay, now, Ghana, adopt this. They came to celebrate. And obviously, I'm not sure that the carnival required everybody to be naked. If you wanted to go and just, do some sightseeing, you could have gone in your decent clothing and still gone to enjoy the party. So what exactly...
I think I beg to differ on this, and I think I disagree with the two of you.
Why?
Yes. So first of all, I just want to understand what the carnival is all about and what it seeks to,
achieve.
What it seeks to achieve. And then secondly, this is a foreign culture. It isn't something that we practice here in Ghana. And then I like the fact that you made mention of some of our tradition, our culture, the depot right and what have you. That one is for a purpose. And it has meaning. It is to usher a young lady into adulthood. And this has been with us for a very long time. This is our culture. This is what we know. This is what we have accepted. And people have practiced it. Our fathers have practiced it. And then over the years...
But the nudity remains.
Yes. Yes.
The nudity is the Catholic bishops.
Yes. Problem. So we are all talking about the nudity, and she made mention of that.
And the nudity has not stopped.
And it's still happening.
Yes, during that.
So how come there's no comment on that?
So the issue was that what we have within, we are fighting it. So we don't have to tolerate another one. This is a foreign culture that it was bad. If you look at the videos on social media, it was that bad. They were all through this Independence Square. It is something we shouldn't tolerate.
Okay. So if the Ghanaian diaspora in whichever country out there also starts our own, and we hear things like this, what would you also say to that?
No. For you to come out naked, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the video.
Yeah, it was just like a bikini, like what you wear at the beach.
Yes, it is not part of it. That's why I'm asking that when we also, export our depot, whichever other cultural, practices in other countries, and then maybe we also find a panel here, just like we are doing, saying that we should not tolerate that. Do you know that would dent the relations between the countries?
Yeah, exactly. I understand. But looking at the way we are brought out in this country,
let me come in. So when you look at what some of the participants of the carnival were saying, like the Caribbeans, they were like, yes, you see the time where they were colonized. That is the only way they used to express their freedom and everything. And then they are celebrating it because we have the same story as theirs. They were also colonized, and they're looking at the fact that,
not to cut you, but these people of Caribbean descent, most of them are from this land.
Yes.
Whose ancestors, when it came to the liberation and all of that, they were just dumped all over, So if even most of these people trace their roots, they are from here. So you realize that with Brazil, there's this Afro something. I saw that on social media recently, where they also have the same gods as Nigerian gods. So they worship the Nigerian traditional gods. So you have the Oshun and Shango and all of that. They also have that. Why is that? Because their ancestors also have Nigerian traces or roots. So there are definitely going to be elements of our African cultural activities in this. Just that, of course, with time, with new exposure to different things, it's gone a little further ahead in certain ways. But when you vehemently say that we should not tolerate it, it begs a different question. Whether Ghana is a tolerable country or hospitable country.
Of course, when you check, Ghana is the most... Yes.
So if
but
anything,
it means I'm not disputing that fact. For whatever reason that carnival was held, it could have been held without exposing those.
So that is where now you should say that, okay, maybe we can create certain rules and regulations about how the people should be dressed and still be able to express themselves, because there are obviously clothes they can wear. You know, I think the ladies, we have leggings that are, you know, almost the same color as your skin. Yes. All of that can be worn, maybe some shorts or something, in order to have both, you know, our Ghanaian conservative culture appeased, and then also these people can express themselves. So
the issue is that let's break it down. Even as someone who sells a product as a company, before you can take your product overseas to a different country, you have to check their cultural background, everything, what they accept and what they don't accept. Already in this country, this is what we are fighting over. We talk about indecent dressing and what have you. We talk about teenage pregnancy. We talk about rape. We talk about indecent dressing. I understand that they say freedom. Freedom has come. You have the right to dress anyhow. But we shouldn't allow that kind of... See, that is what we do.
Because of what you just said. Let me wait.
We are fighting LGBT.
So the reason why they might have chosen Ghana as the first African country to have their maiden edition is because Ghana has like a major cultural tourism hub initiatives like the Year of Return, and it traces back to our culture. Like we share the same storyline.
So
that would have probably be the reason. Okay.
Our culture is not asking us to expose ourselves.
There's one key one.
One key one. Culture of return.
So the fact is that some of these things, we don't have to tolerate them.
Peter, I think you may need to do something about the semantics you are using.
No.
If you say it that way,
we don't have to. I'm not against the reason. No, it wouldn't cause any, because you can't go to any other country and do that pleases you. Before you want to do anything at all, you have to check the cultural background, what these people like and what they do not like.
But they have done their homework. That's why
I'm saying that you should tell you.
When you come, you influence the others as well.
That's what I'm saying, that you rather should recommend that there should be some amendments. Right. But if you blatantly say we should not tolerate that
is how things happen. Let's give them some time before you realize. Because of social media, people are easily influenced. So I'm not against the fact that they are here to express whatever thing they want to do. That's fine. You can do it without that nudity. It's very bad.
Yes, it is.
It's very bad. And so I'm even shocked as it stands now. The women in parliament, they've not come out to say something about it. It is high time we talk about nudity in this country. We are against it. You can't go to any.
Because honestly, I feel like
this issue is taking a lot of our time. We have a lot to discuss too, and I see you're passionate about it. But maybe we'll do this maybe backstage or something. So we need to move on to a bit more, pressing issues. So the Ministry of Health procurement breach delays Weija Pediatric Hospital opening. So the Ministry of Health has broken its silence on the prolonged closure of the Weija Children's, that's the pediatric hospital, attributing the delay to procurement irregularities, funding disputes, and unresolved contractual issues, despite the facility being physically completed. So yes, that's a video of the facility. It's been completed, but it seems that the opening has been delayed due to some issues. And I think when I was reading about it, They said that the hospital is funded by the World Bank,
Right.
and when the, so to say, budget was given to the World Bank, somebody, or the budget had been inflated. The cost of certain equipment and resources had been inflated over 11 times the actual amount. And it is worrying.
Should we call this robbery?
It is robbery. It's very worrying because these things, we even face them here in our society. Somebody will come, oh, Peter, I want to help you. Yeah. You know, I want to pay your school fees. The school fees is maybe just about 15,000 cedis. Peter will say it's 54,000 cedis just so he can make more money and, you know, do whatever he wants. When he could have just been honest that, yes, this is a school fees, but I would need something for my upkeep. And we are seeing this happening here. And now for me, I think that the main thing I'm worried about is the drafting table of the budget. Which people were there? Which people, you know, drew that? And who also authorized it? These are the people we need to trace and then, you know, do something about. Because right now, our reputation with the World Bank has been tainted. Yeah. That's, these Ghanaians, they will steal right now. And, you know, fortunately for the World Bank, they did their background checks. They did, you know, so they were able to realize that, no, these prices were inflated. Yeah. Imagine the other institutions that don't necessarily do all of these checks. Peter.
Yeah, it's a very sad situation, and this isn't the only project the World Bank has actually funded. Okay. The World Bank also funded E-Block Community Day Senior High School. I think we'll talk about that. But what we are seeing, you know, some reports also indicate that, you know, the equipment we have inside there, when they leave it like that, heat can actually destroy them. So once it is not while it is not in operation, we have air conditions, everything on, just to protect the equipment inside it. So like Yaira rightly stated, who should we hold responsible? Where does the accountability comes in? Because the money is not coming from you, it is coming from somewhere, and you've been able to build this facility. I don't think
and
that
it's not a small infrastructure. Like, for a purpose. This is like the most finished hospital I've ever seen.
It was for a purpose. So now, yes, there have been some form of irregularities. People have spent money and all of that, but that shouldn't, you know, prevent, you know, the country from, you know, just. I know there are misunderstandings between the contractor and whatever you, and it should be in court by now.
So, with the story too, the World Bank has also refused to, you know, pay the rest of the money, and then the person who was contracted to. You know, so it has become a chain reaction of things. That is why the opening has been delayed.
And so if we are able to identify, like you rightly said, it went through processes. Where did that problem actually come from? And so if you are able to identify that person, then we hold the person responsible. Right. I'm sure that if the contractor had seen the perpetrator or whoever is involved in court, he would have, I mean, he's human. Whoever he is, he's human. And then World Bank to understand, because the people that are calling for the operationalization of this, people are going through a whole lot.
It's just like you've seen your mom prepare food. The food is ready. They are hungry, and it's like don't eat. Sit down and wait.
So there's a video of the residents of Weija also speaking on the hospital that has been newly constructed. So let's take a look.
I feel you are starting. So I'm baby no am here. Obe hu de to aso because ye makwan kura. Ye makwan e ma hospital we enka wuram. Enti e ba no pa ya e boko. O me be hospital na ma. How many minutes? And be taken from the friends the Ministry of Health. Aba be e from the hospital no. Enya kwa siasa o ti opposition some men wanka. And some men ko bra mi ta ga do wanka. Ah ye be hospital. Ye see hospital fe obi aso da ye. NDC abamba e wo si odwin kola ho. And this is about one you could be what I say. 1 year, I was about you, I had a Sabiamo. That's so be able to see him over the I have a problem. I didn't was as a man. Young Tiasia, Mahama, and then a minister. I'm in Takando, or maybe office on my head. Yet they ask them, you knew money as some. Saturday and buy a rea. You never video Mako. You buy a boko thing. I feel you are starting. So I'm a beyond one my hair. Obey you to us. Because yeah, makwan kura, yeah, makwan, Emma hospital we enka wuram. Enti e ba no pa ya,
Right, so that was a very passionate resident of the Ouija community. And from his submission, as much as their plight is very valid, you can see that there is also the need for education, for people to understand that it is not maybe for political reasons or whatsoever, but it's actually an internal issue that needs to be resolved before this hospital would be commissioned. And so you see that for him, he says, just Muhammad and his minister, they should come and but there are more things to do before, you know.
So, and that's why I like the fact that before you introduce this, you explain the reason why the hospital has been stalled, and so that for viewers to understand, so that in as much as he was expressing his frustration, he was too harsh, and that from what he said, you would get to understand that he doesn't even know what goes into it. So I think that is why the ministries, and I like what this current government has introduced, accountability. Once in a while, you brief Ghanaians what is going on and all that. So I don't think if the man actually knows what is on ground, he would have made these comments. Without notwithstanding, I've been saying this, and today too, I'll repeat it again. We vote for politicians, we vote for political parties to come to power, not in their own interest. They are to come to power and serve the country, not to serve their political parties or their own, interests. It is high time we sit down and get a national developmental plan that if you are a political party and you are seeking to come to power, when you come, you don't come and tell us what you want to do for us. We will tell you what we want you to do for us. There are so many projects that have been stored that have been left to rot. Others we can't account for them. And I'll go to that. We have National Development Planning Commission, NDPC, here in Ghana, and their mandate is to ensure that they are to develop programs and a long-term program for the country, for both AMDC, district, and the national level as well. So I think it is high time we get a national developmental plan that if you are seeking to come to power, this is what the country wants. The country wants you in 4 years to do this. You don't come and tell us what you want to do. And in as much as we have this
development plan, Nkrumah had one.
Yes.
And
so the issue is that it doesn't have any constitutional backing that will force them to do it.
Yeah.
Before we can do that, it means that there have to be some constitutional amendment. And yesterday I was going through the this committee that came out for CRC, the Constitutional Review Committee, and I realized that they made mention of that. So if it is that we have to, amend the Constitution to give it a backing, constitutional backing, that when you come, it is not your manifesto, it is not what you want to do for us, but rather we have a national plan that this is what you have to do. Then that's why, because like you said, we have it. They come and you realize that their manifesto and what the NDPC has set, it varies. Nobody monitors. They don't have the power to check the sea. What you want to do is in contrary, or it is different from what the nation seeks to do. And so they come because they have power, they do whatever thing they want to do. Now, why am I saying this? There's a how do I even put it? The E-Block Community Day Senior High School, I know we all heard of it, where 200 E-Blocks where they wanted to build it to increase SHS access in deprived areas.
Yeah.
It cost us about 150 million United States dollars, and that also was World Bank supported project. As we speak, some of these projects have been abandoned. They are in the bushes. And we are talking about education. We are talking about the fact that some of these kids do not have even places to learn. And these projects have been abandoned because a party will come and be like, I didn't start it, so I won't complete it. Which it's high time we end those things, because you are not in power because of your party. You are in power because of the ordinary Ghanaian.
Yeah.
Do what will benefit the ordinary Ghanaian. We have the Sagleme Affordable Housing Project. What has happened to it? We have politicized everything in this country, that things that will benefit the ordinary Ghanaian, the people in power will say they won't do because they didn't start it. They want to take glory. At the end of the day, the ordinary Ghanaian suffers. We also have the Commander Sugar Factory, which is supposed to, create jobs for the ordinary Ghanaian. They come and still they politicize everything, and we don't see where it goes. There's high unemployment rate here in Ghana. We still import a whole lot into this country. Meanwhile, we have the projects there that they have to just It is high time we put an end to these things.
Bro. The conversation has gotten very passionate, but we have to take a break for the other segments to come through. We'll be back here again shortly, in about an hour or two to continue the conversation. I'm sure you were enjoying it as I was also enjoying Peter's submission. For now, lifestyle segment is up next, and we're going to be learning about bedwetting. So if you are very interested in that, call a friend, text a friend, and tune in as Bevelyn Anobil and her guest educate and inform us about bedwetting. Stay tuned.
Hello, and you're welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. My name is Annabelle Bevine Jabia, and when you see me here, you know it is time for lifestyle on the show. And today we are talking about something different, okay? Something we don't usually talk about. Something, let me say, uncommon. I would like to mention occurred, but today we are tackling, we have a guest here, and we are tackling bedwetting. That is the topic for today. And we have here Madam Terestella Tay Kwabla, who is the chairperson for Community Practice Pharmacists Association. Hello, ma'am. You're welcome to
Hi. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very blessed. Yourself?
I'm doing fantastic.
Thank God.
It's good to have you here.
Yes.
All right. This morning we are talking about bedwetting, something we don't really have conversations on. So you want to find out how normal is it for children to continue to wet their bed at night.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's start from there.
Okay. So before that, we have to understand what bedwetting actually is.
Right.
So when we talk about bedwetting, it's just an involuntary urination during your sleep.
Right.
And when we talk about the sleep, it could be at either day or night.
Okay.
Yeah. So what makes it normal and what makes it not normal is, for the normal aspect, when we have children at the ranges of 5 to 7, from
that's the range.
Younger than younger.
Right.
When you have those ages, we know that one is normal. And also when this urination doesn't come with certain signs like pain, discomfort, and all that, and the what's it called? The color of the urine too,
right,
and the pungent smell that comes with it. We check all these things to ascertain whether this is normal or not. So all these factors helps us to know whether this bedwetting is normal or this bedwetting is not normal. Yeah, so these are some of the flags that we look at to ascertain that.
So what are some of the causes? Like what goes wrong? Let me say in the sleep and during the sleep.
Okay.
And before the sleep, what could have gone wrong?
All right. So normally, for the children, not even children, I'll not say only children, when you are the type that you bedwet, or even if you don't bedwet and you drink lots of water, excessive water before you sleep, this can also cause that. Yes. So drinking excessive water before you sleep. 2, when the bladder, for children, their bladder, everyone's development is different. You get it? So when the bladder development hasn't developed that much, the urine absorption isn't there. Hence, the probability that the child would bedwet is very high. And we have the genetic factors as well. It has been proven that when the parents, one of them bedwetted, that was when the parent was young and bedwetted. If it's one, then there's this probability, 40% chances that the child would also bedwet. But if it's both parents, then it's 70% probability that the child would also bedwet. So it's so many factors to consider and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember somewhere last week, was it? No, that was a few days ago. We're talking about urine and the fact that, frequent urination, especially when it comes to the speed, men usually, urinate a lot as compared to the females. Does the same thing apply to when it comes to children bedwetting?
It's also
between like the men or the kids, women
the
and
boys and girls. Yes, so we have that probability too. The boys have that chance of bedwetting more than the girls.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that too is there. Right. Yeah.
I know some parents would like to call it because my kid is lazy and they don't just feel like getting up. Some even go to the extent of like waking them up to urinate. But what do you think we should draw? Where do you think we should draw the line where parents say, "Oh, because my child is lazy"? It has that some kind of mental effects on the child.
It's not that the child is lazy or the child is being stubborn. As I said, one, it could be that the development of the bladder hasn't gotten to that peak. So the edge or the probability that the child would bedwet is high. It could also be genetic. you, the mother, you know that when you were a child, this is what you faced. So you should also bear in mind that it could happen to the child. So you have to understand the child. You have to be supportive. You have to do things to help the child, not to make the child feel useless or make the child feel this is something that, like, to disgrace the child. You don't do that. You have so many ways of helping the child to do this. You make sure that before the child sleeps, at least you tell the child to go and wee-wee. We have something we call the bedwet alarms.
Okay.
So if you have the alarm, when it rings, the child gets up.
Wake them up.
Or you, the parents, for children who cannot wake up, like 5 years, 6 years and all that, when you, the parents, wake up to wee-wee, you also wake the child up. This is something that I used for my last born, and it has really helped. You see, when I wake up to pee at night, I'll take my child and we go, Mama, let's wee-wee. Sometimes but you just have to encourage the baby. Mama, let's do it. You say, shh. You know, mothers, we have this kind of, we have our own way of handling things. Mama, shh. You see that the child will pee. And after that, the amount of urine that would come out, all you have to say is, oh, thank you. Because, you know, if that urine hadn't come out in the morning, you have to wash, you have to do so many things. So we as parents, we have a duty to also play to help the child. And we have to always encourage them. Let's say this night the child didn't urinate, bed wet. Like, wow, you did well. Like, let the child know that this progress, you are there with the child, supportive and all that. And it really, really helps. It really helps. Yeah.
Dr. Stella. You know, children mostly outgrow at their age, especially when it comes to bedwetting. At what, let me say, time should we draw the line? Let's say it has now become a medical, let's say, condition as compared to like the normal bedwetting that we know.
So when it's 7 years and above, that is when we begin to have some concerns. And as I said, for the concern, some of them, let's say a child has stopped, isn't bedwetting, it's very dry, but suddenly there's a sudden onset. And you ask yourself, is this consistent or it is just occasional? It just happened once. Is it happening every day? You should ask your child. You should be able to talk to your child and know what is happening. There's this incident when a lady came to my pharmacy and she was very disturbed. And my daughter has never bedwetted. My daughter is 15 years. How come she's bedwetted? Like, she was so concerned because the daughter is in SHS. You get it? So she was like, what is happening? And upon investigation, talking to this child, he got to realize that vacation that she came and she bedwetted, it was only once. So when I was chatting with her, she told me that, Auntie, to be frank, I was scared to tell my mom. I watched a scary movie. Okay, so this scary movie, when I woke up, I was so scared. I didn't want to even open my eyes. So I had to just bedwet. So that is why I did. So you could see that sometimes fear causes children to bedwet because they are scared. It is dark. I'm going out. No, I'm scared.
You know, most Ghanaians also like to sleep with their lights.
Exactly. So you get it. But for this particular incident that I was talking about, the next day, the child didn't, and the subsequent days, the child didn't. So the woman got to appreciate the fact that, oh, this is just an occasional, like it's not something that's persisted. But because genuinely my child actually watched a scary movie and was afraid and all that. So we do so many investigations, ask so many questions before we get to know that, is this something that needs a therapeutic effect? Do you need medicine? Do you need, what supports do you need? So we do so many investigations to check before we give any advice or any medication.
Right. So can turning on the lights for maybe the kids, can he also like in a way help to...
So if the mom realizes that my child is scared of the dark, and because of that, my child is not going to urinate, then let's help the child by putting on the lights and let's see how it goes. If you put on the lights and it's fine, we thank God. If you put on the lights and still she keeps on, then we know the other action to take to help the child. Yeah.
So can constant like bedwetting, constant, like we said, sometimes the bladder gets full and then you tend to urinate like most frequently. So in let's say in a night, the child can maybe, let me just say, someone can urinate like maybe 2 times before they even wake up the next morning.
Yeah.
Can it cause like some infections, UTI, or anything? Does it contribute to such factors?
Okay, so some of the investigations we do when we realize that someone is bedwetting and is becoming an issue, these are some of the checks that we do. So we look for infections. We get it that it could be a sign of UTI. It could be a sign of some medical conditions. So we do certain checks to check if that is what is actually causing this problem. So yes, yeah.
And what about sleep disorder too?
Yes,
because if you sleep too much, it makes you bedwet.
Exactly.
Can lack of sleep also contribute to that?
Yes, it does. When they are really, for the sleep patterns, it normally happens when they are, we call it deep sleep. Okay, so when they are in that trance, when they are in that position, it's kind of difficult to wake up. And some of them, when you even ask them, they tell you, they thought they were in the washroom peeing.
Right.
You get it? Because their sleep has become so deep and so sweet that they thought they were doing something. Meanwhile, that is not what it is. So all these things too as factors that we consider.
Right. So growing up, people have, had people that had, been through, maybe I don't know, my mom, I'm sure my mom is watching me right now. I don't know the particular age I stopped or, bedwetting. But then does it have any psychological, self-esteem issues on part of like the kid?
Yeah, it does.
And how long does it take for the child to, come out of that? Because we live in a community where when you bedwet,
exactly.
They will disgrace you. Even sometimes go to, African mothers, they have their way of making you stop doing it. Something, go to your school, tell your teachers, tell your friends, if you need, I'll come to your school. Do you get it? Yeah.
It has a way of affecting the child, depending on the way it's being handled.
Okay.
Get it? So when it's, as you said, the teacher gets to hear, friends get to hear about it, then, there's this, you feel some way, you are ashamed. Whatever you do, people will tag you to be the girl or the boy that's bedwets and all that. So it really affects them a lot. So we encourage parents, we should just try and look at the root cause and try and see how best we can help. If it's the bedwetting alarm, that would use that technique, or letting the child seek counseling. Like, we have so many ways of solving this, but not to make the child feel ashamed or it doesn't help. Yeah.
So now we've spoken about too much sleep and not too much sleep can also cause bedwetting. Can stress also lead to that?
Yeah.
Anxiety,
as I said, anxiety, fear, these are all psychological effects that happens, and at the end of the day, bedwetting
and even sometimes the punishment you receive after bedwetting can also sometimes make you bedwet more.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So it has so many ways, or we have so many ways of handling this particular issue. It's not easy though, but as parents, as mothers, it's a duty call that we have to help our children navigate and do the right things and all that.
Well, this has been the lifestyle segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show, and we were talking about bedwetting. And I have some few comments here I would like to read to Doctor so she can maybe address some of these issues. So I have some few comments. This is coming from Bernard from Tema, and he says that his 9-year-old still wets the bed occasionally. Is that normal?
Okay.
I'm not sure he watched us from the very beginning, but this is what he's saying.
So for the occasionally is normal.
Okay.
Yeah. Being okay is not persistent, is not always, so it's normal. So what the dad should also pay attention is before the child sleeps, should make sure that the child has gone to urinate, and also make sure before the child sleeps, the child shouldn't drink so much water. Because all these things causes the bedwetting.
Let me go ahead and read a few more comments. So AC from Kumasi says, wants to know, can bedwetting be hereditary? I think that was addressed earlier.
Exactly.
And we have Yao says that, asks whether stress or emotional issues can cause bedwetting in children. I think that also has been answered. And maybe he says her child is too embarrassed to even attend sleepovers because of bedwetting. How can parents support children emotionally? This is what Mabel is saying. And then we have another from Prince from Tamale, and he says that, should parents punish children for bedwetting, or it is completely beyond their control when it becomes out of control? And we have another one, says that, wants to know if drinking, she didn't add her name, if drinking too much water before bedtime contributes to bedwetting. Some of the questions, you can tell that they are, very young parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Adra says that, when does bedwetting become a medical issue rather than just childhood phase? And we have one last one. Kobe says, an adult friend still struggles with bedwetting occasionally. Can adults experience bedwetting too? That's what Kobe is asking this morning.
Yeah, so let's tackle the last, then we go.
Right.
Adults too do experience that. Yeah. And it could be due to so many factors. It could be due to a warning sign telling you that there is an underlying condition, hence that person needs a therapeutic or needs to visit the hospital. Okay. When this happens, we do so many investigations to find out the root cause.
So how do you do your investigations?
Okay, so we can do the urine test.
Okay.
When we do it, it will depict if there is any infections, UTIs or anything. We'll be able to see whatever it is. It could lead to so many other underlying conditions as well. So with this adult case, I would advise that, or the questions that we would first ask is, before you sleep, are you drinking so much water before you sleep? If you are, then we are getting somewhere. Yeah. The second thing
is it just water? That's
water, fluid, anything liquid.
Okay.
You get it? Anything that would make you pee a lot, make you urinate a lot. Then the second thing too that we ask is that, before you sleep, do you try to urinate? Sometimes you think you don't feel like, but once you go there, you sit or you stand, it comes. So you let that be a habit and see. All these steps too can really help. And have an alarm, bedwetting alarm. So let's say 12 o'clock, then 1 is 2 o'clock. But that's, once you get up, you just try and go and see if you get that urge to wee-wee. Mostly, you find just a little amounts of wee-wee coming out. So all these things too can help. And with the mother or father that talked about sleepovers and all, yes, most parents these days, we want our children to go and socialize, be with their friends, camps and all that. So it becomes a problem. Hey, is my child going to disgrace me? Hey, this and this and that. So you don't know what to do. I remember I organized a camp meeting and a mother confided in me that, please, my daughter bedwets. And my daughter really wants to come. So can you help my daughter? So knowing this, I made sure that during 12, during 2, I'll just go and call the child and we go and we So you see, it's all about communication. It's all about finding ways to help your child. You don't have to let your child feel ashamed as if, no, we don't do that. And we don't have to beat the child. Because mind you, what if it is genetic? The father, you know that this is what happened to you.
But some people don't even have any idea that it's genetic.
Yes, some of them don't.
That's one of the issues. Some people don't even know that it was from them that has, passed on from them to their offspring.
Exactly.
So I think we have to do much work by trying to educate the public on some of these issues. So you keep beating your child. Now, I've told you stop bedwetting your bed, and you keep doing it. Still, not knowing the fault is from you, the mother or the father.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really an issue, but
yeah. But have you had cases where secondary school boarding house especially, that's the time where the children mostly leave home. Apart from tertiary, that's like 4 years. Secondary school, that's like 3 years. That's the official time you leave home.
Exactly.
Then you go to secondary schools. Have you had issues or cases from there?
A lot.
And how did the head teachers or maybe the let's say head teachers and even some of the students, what was their reactions like?
Okay, so for the students, normally what we advise and what I'm advising now is, if you are a student and you know that you bedwet, there are so many ways of helping yourself. We can help you, but the overall goal is you trying as much as possible to help yourself. Alarm clocks, let mommy give you an alarm clock. Okay, so when mommy gives you an alarm clock, you set it 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Like, just try to set something to help yourself. So during that time, you get wake up and go and pee. Or make sure you don't... It's the fluid. The fluid.
Because from where I come from, most of the secondary schools don't allow certain, devices or
for alarm clocks,
that would be
it's not, we are not taking phone. We have that alarm clock that kind of that cute alarm clock is allowed. Okay, so you can take that and try and help yourself. Because bedwetting in SHS boarding house is another issue altogether.
So it's like you've spoken about almost all the things. Now let's talk about you're the chairperson for the Community Practice Pharmacists Association, and earlier on you told me that there are 90 years.
Yes.
Interesting. 90 years is no joke at all. Tell us about it.
90 years. Yay. So, Community Practice Pharmacists Association, we are under the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana. So Pharmaceutical Society, PSGH for short, is our mother. Okay, so we are under it and we are celebrating 90 years of dedication, of community service, of hard work, and we have come this far just by the grace of God. So last week, we had our pre-launch. We went to Ekropon. We had so many activities.
Well, that's why it's cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Senior High School.
Then we went to your school. We went to give them some comprehensive, first aid, and we went to talk to the students as well. Then we went to Ebri. Then we went to the Presbyterian Teaching College to also do a donation. Then we had a grand deba. A grand deba where we officially launched our 90th anniversary. So we have so many activities planned. We are going to give back to the society in so many ways. So we should all watch out. Pharmacists, PSGH, we are 90 years. And we are going to let the whole world know the uniqueness that pharmacists will bring on board.
Yay. We hear from Madam. So is there any upcoming initiative that you would like to mention here before you go?
Okay, so
PSGH.
Okay, so for PSGH, as I said, we have so many activities and initiatives coming that we are going to do to let the public know that, yes, we are 90 years, we are bringing the impact, we are telling you about the science aspect, the legacy, and all that. And for that activities, it is so many things that we are going to do. So many things. So I don't know the aspect that maybe I didn't get your question well, but for the activities lined up, it's going to be throughout. So we started this month.
Okay.
And it's going to be a year-long activity. Exactly. Filled with donations, community impact, outreaches, webinars, a whole lot. Yeah.
It's been an interesting conversation here on the Lifestyle segment. We've been talking to Dr. Terestella Tay Kwabla, who has been talking to us about bedwetting, what we need to know, and measures we need to put in place. But then before we go, we'd like to hear your final words. What are some of the lifestyle practices parents can do to protect the integrity, let me say integrity, of their babies or kids at home? Should they adapt to, that is, technology has made it quite simple. We have mattresses, that, soak beds instead of you carrying your mat every morning, going to, put on the sun for it to dry and
for people to see.
Exactly. And I said, you've won the bet again.
So the last words that I would share here is that we shouldn't think that bedwetting is a sign that the child is being stubborn or the child doesn't want to listen. No. Today we are educating, or we are telling you that it could be genetic. It doesn't mean that the child is being stubborn. Okay. So one, what are we supposed to do? What are the duties of parents? We have to protect our children. We don't have to let them feel less or make them feel ashamed. One, before your child goes to sleep, you just encourage the child to go and wee-wee, to go and urinate before. You make sure the child doesn't take so much fluid before sleeping. You also make sure that you have bed wet alarms, or just an alarm clock to just remind the child that at 12 or at this time you have to, or you as a parent, when you get up to even use the washroom, you should try as much as possible to wake up your child so that your child would go and use the washroom. And all these little things that we do would really help the child in a long run.
Thank you very much. This is your final words before we go. Where can they find you?
Okay, so aside me being the chairperson, I am the CEO of Pakalen Pharmacy. We are at Lakeside Estates. We do so many services. We do counseling, bedwetting. Yes, if you want to see us, if you want to reach out to us for us to also help you in this way, we are here. You can go to all our socials, okay? So for LinkedIn, I'm Terestella Tay Kwabla. You can, let's link up there. Facebook, I'm Terestella Tay Kwabla. You can link up and help each other, impacting knowledge and all that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Terestella, for coming to our show this morning. And guys, we've been talking to Madam Terestella Tay Kwabla, and she is the chairperson for Community Practice Pharmacists Association, and we've been talking about bedwetting, some of the lifestyle changes that happen with kids as they grow. We've learned a lot. So if you missed this particular conversation, you'd like to visit our social media, Facebook, YouTube. You can go and then watch it. And we have some amazing celebrants in the house this morning that we are celebrating. So let's have it whilst we celebrate them together.
I heard today was your birthday. I heard today was your birthday.
Oh, so we have here Priscilla Teria, and LJ Fragrance is saying that sending a special birthday shout out to you. May your day be filled with joy and blessings. This is to you, Priscilla Teria from LJ Fragrance. And to my little smile, happy glorious birthday to my adorable little baby girl. Wishing you a beautiful day filled with joy, blessings, laughter, and endless success. May you continue to shine brightly and grow in grace every single day. This coming from James Marcelo. And also coming from James to Uncle Ebenezer, says that happy birthday to an amazing uncle. Your wisdom, kindness, and support mean so much to me and the entire family. May God bless you with good health, long life, happiness, and success in all that you do. Coming from James Marcelo to Uncle Ebenezer. And this has been the lifestyle segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. My name once again is Annabelle Bevin Ejebia. Next is sports segment with Benedict Nketia Kwating. Do stay with us.
And welcome back to the sports update segment on your favorite morning show, the Koko Digest Morning Show. I know here we bring you nothing but the best in the world of sports. My name is Benedict Nketia Kwating, and over here we are bringing you nothing but the best in the world of sports. We are covering all the action, both local and international. So join me as today we dive into the world of sports. Now, to begin with our stories for today, let's talk about the GPL. So yesterday there were some games that happened for the Ghana Premier League. Yes, on the side of the Ghana Premier League, we had one of the games being cancelled. That is Asante Kotoko hosting Hoho United. The game was cancelled. But then aside that one, there were some games. Bechem United hosting Dreams FC by losing to them 2-1. Brekum Chelsea won 2-1 against Mediama FC SC. Bibiani Gold Stars also won 2-0 against Samatex. We have Hearts of Lions hosting Nations FC, but they lost against Nations FC by 1-0. We have Hearts of Oak drawing against Karela United. We have Holy Stars, Basake Holy Stars facing or hosting Ediana Stars at home. Holy Stars won by 2-0. And then we have Swedru All Blacks winning 5-2 against 11 Wonders. So, 11 Wonders are still going to be relegated in the long run. Young Apostles, that's the last game, won 3-1 against Visions FC. So yes, this is the update on the match day 30 for the Ghana Premier League. So those of us who don't know what's going on, this is the update on what is happening. This is the table. Mediama SC is still leading by 56 points. That is 2 points difference between Mediama SC. Then the second team, that is Gold Stars SC, 2 points difference. From Hearts of Oak, it's 6 points difference. Hearts of Oak is 50. And then down on the relegation table, we have Vision FC with 38 points. We have Ahoy United FC with 30 points. We have 11 Wonders with 13 points. It's quite, sad to see 11 Wonders, going through orders. But I'm hoping that they will come back better next season after they go back to the Division 2 and Division 1 league. Yeah, so this is just an update on the Ghana Premier League. Now, let's move on to our stories for today. We have our first story going about, this is about the Under-17 AFCON competition that is going to be held in Morocco. So Koko urges Black Starlets to restore Ghana's glory at under 17 AFCON. So Koko met the Ghana team that is traveling to Morocco for the 2026 AFCON competition that is in Morocco, urging the boys to bring back the love, bring back the passion. They should do their best when they go out there because most of these youngsters are the ones we are looking up to come and hold on to the team in the years coming up. So he met the team. He arrived at the Accra International Airport around 4 a.m. On Wednesday to address the boys, speak to them, and then of course bid them farewell. He said something. He says, "For years we have not been able to qualify for the AFCON, but you have done it this time." So this is a way to admonish the youngsters, to encourage them and tell them this year is a year of turnaround for Ghana football, and it starts with you. I have absolute confidence in this team. The quality your technical team has put together and all the preparations you have gone through. He also urged the boys to secure qualification for the U17 World Cup that is also coming up soon. So he is also trying to admonish the boys that just as you have qualified for the AFCON competition in Morocco, do your best, play better in this competition, and also do your utmost best to also qualify for the U17, that's under 17 FIFA World Cup that is also going to be held. He also added that you are carrying the hopes of millions of Ghanaians when you step onto the pitch. Remember that you are not alone. An entire nation stands behind you. So I think this is enough motivation to the boys to also let them feel that yes, we are watching them, we are fully backing them. I wish we can have people to go support them in Morocco, but I know that wherever there is football, there will definitely be Ghanaians out there, and definitely will have people to go and support our youngsters. The supporters union will also definitely make their way to go and support these boys in their subsequent games that is coming up. Now let me move on to the next story. The next story is about a topic that is very sensitive, and then we've been condemning this kind of issues for a very long time, trying to drum the love, trying to push love into the hearts of spectators out there. So yes, just on Monday there was a game between Manchester City and then Everton, that is the EPL, where Everton hosted Manchester City. So yes, Everton condemned racist abuse against Antoine Semenyo as fan arrested during Manchester City draw. So this game ended up in a draw, but in the course of the game, there was a racist racial abuse towards our very own Antoine Semenyo, and this is quite I don't even understand, because the team, most of the Everton players are made up of blacks, made up of Africans. The one who dominated very well in the Everton game on Monday is black. So it's quite unfortunate that we have people out there still passing out racial abuse, racial comments towards other players of opponent teams and all that. And so far the culprit has been arrested, and then he has been sent to court, and then his punishment, he has since been bailed with conditions, including restrictions preventing him from going within 1 mile of any designated sports stadium for a period of up to 4 hours before kickoff during matches, and up to 4 hours after the final whistle. So before 4 hours before a kickoff of the game, he's not supposed to be within the 1 mile radius of any designated sports stadium, and then 4 hours after the final whistle, he cannot come closer until 4 hours. So yes, Everton made a comment that racism and discrimination in all forms are completely unacceptable. They have no place in our stadia, our sport or society, and behavior of this nature will not be tolerated. So yes, we commend the Merseyside police for their swift action. Of course, we had some of the spectators on the Everton side, also helping out with the police to be able to identify the culprit and arrest him. So he's a 71-year-old man from Nottinghamshire who was arrested on suspicion of a racially aggravated public order offence after supporters and stewards reported that racist abuse was shouted by a fan. So investigation was set across immediately. That was reported. And this is not the first time actually Semenyo has been racially abused. Whilst he was in Bournemouth, he faced a lot of these issues. A game against Liverpool, he had the similar issue, and then it's been happening. We are hoping this football is a means to bring us together. So the cause where people use the means to racially abuse others is something we don't want to encourage. Hopefully, we can get rid of it. It's a gradual process. We are not looking for it to happen in a day, but in due time, in due course, it will happen. Now, for our final story for today, as football fans, what's been going on. Yesterday, Tuesday, and then yesterday, there were some games that were played. That is the UEFA Champions League semi-finals. First game was between Arsenal hosting Atletico Madrid at the Emirates Stadium, where Arsenal won by a goal to 0. It was an interesting moment because this is the second time Arsenal is qualifying for the finals of the Champions League, and then since 2006. That is 20 years ago, about 2 decades ago, when they last qualified for the finals to the Champions League, and that was when Barcelona won against them. I remember that game very well. I wasn't relatively young, so I remember the game very well. Barcelona played very well against Arsenal and won against them. So yes, Arsenal has qualified. They've qualified, and then on an aggregate of 2-1 against Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid, I don't know, Diego Simeone. We were watching the game, but we just didn't understand what his tactics were. You take out your attackers to bring in, holding midfielders and all that. But then that is it. We don't know what he wanted to do. It was a tactics. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him. And then yesterday, one of the interesting games that went on. Of course, Tuesday was quite interesting. A goal to 0. And then yesterday, Bayern Munich hosted Paris Saint-Germain, one of the most dominant teams in the Champions League. That is PSG. But both teams, Bayern Munich and then PSG, very dominant teams. The first leg ended 5-4 against Bayern Munich, and then Bayern Munich was hoping to bring back PSG to their home and then win against PSG. But unfortunately for them, yes, PSG drew the game against Bayern Munich 1-1. We saw Ousmane Dembele scoring in the first 3 minutes of the game against Bayern Munich, and then in the final minutes of the game, we had Harry Kane equalizing to make it 1-1, and then an aggregate of 6-5 in favor of PSG. There were some controversial calls in the game. We all watched it. There were some calls. Some fans think it was quite unfortunate on the side of Bayern Munich because they wanted those fouls to be called. But yes, the referee knows what he was doing. I don't think we can blame him that much. There was so much tension in the game, and then at the end, PSG qualified for the finals of the Champions League. So we have the finals that is coming on in Budapest. Arsenal versus PSG. So PSG, this is their back-to-back Champions League finals. They won last season, and then they are playing again this time around against, in the English side, Arsenal. Arsenal is leading the EPL table. It's by far, it looks as if they are taking the league on the EPL side. PSG has won the league on the League Air, that is the League One side. And then these powerful teams, these powerhouses are meeting in Budapest to play the finals of the UEFA Champions League. We wish them the very best. May the best man win, and then may the best man come out victorious out of this game. So yes, this is for the sports update segment. My name is Benedict Nketia Kwatin, and I was your host for this morning. Next is the business segment with Peter Nsia.
Hello there, good morning to you and welcome. This is the Business Update segment on the Koko Digest Morning Show. I am your host, Peter Nsia. Now to our stories. Ghana's reference rate for May 2026 has recorded a slight decline to 10.03%, down from 10.06% in April. The Ghana reference rate serves as the main benchmark commercial banks use in pricing loans in the country, meaning the latest adjustment could result in a marginal reduction in lending rate for loans negotiated between May 5, 2026 and June 1, 2026.
The slight drop was largely influenced by a decline in the interbank rate at the end of April 2026, which is to 10.30%. Meanwhile, Treasury bill rate saw a small increase from 4.81% to 4.92%. Despite the rise in Treasury bill yields, the reduction in the interbank rate was enough to push the overall reference rate lower.
Away from that story, the Bank of Ghana significantly reduced the cost of issuing currency in 2025, with total expenses falling from more than 1 billion cedis in 2024 to 471 million cedis, according to the central bank's latest financial statement. The report showed that spending on printing new banknotes and minting coins dropped sharply from 986 million cedis in 2024 to 277 million cedis in 2025. However, some other costs recorded increases during the period. Agency fees rose to 10.6 million cedis, while other currency-related expenses jumped from 14.6 million cedis in 2024 to 183 million cedis in 2025.
Central Bank itself. The cost of importing foreign currency also increased slightly, moving from 14.4 million cedis in 2024 to 16.5 million cedis in 2025. Meanwhile, the amount of currency in circulation recorded a modest increase, rising from 71.6 billion cedis in 2024 to 83.8 billion cedis in 2025. The Bank of Ghana explained that currency in circulation refers to the total value of banknotes and coins held by the public and financial institutions at face value. It added that the liability on issued notes and coins is calculated after deducting the amount of currency held by the central bank itself.
On to our last story, fertilizer prices on the global market are set to rise significantly in 2026. A trend that could drive up the cost of food production and increase the risk of food inflation across sub-Saharan Africa, including Ghana. This is highlighted in the April 2026 Commodity Market Outlook published by the World Bank, which forecast a 30.7% jump in global fertilizer prices in 2026. Prices are, however, expected to ease in 2027 as supply conditions improve.
The reports explain that fertilizer prices remain closely tied to global energy markets and geopolitical tensions, mainly because natural gas is a major component in fertilizer production. Rising fertilizer costs are likely to push up production expenses for farmers around the world. In developing regions like sub-Saharan Africa, this will make it harder for farmers to afford the inputs they need, potentially affecting crop yields and overall food supply. For countries such as Ghana, they rely heavily on imported fertilizer. The anticipated increase will further strain food prices and household budgets. Although prices are projected to moderate in 2027, the short-term spike will still worsen food inflation and raise food security concerns, especially in low-income African economies.
Let's now take a look at how the cedi is faring in the markets. And that's how we wrap up on the business update segment of the Koko Digest Morning Show. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Peter Ensia. Up next is the main discussion. Please do stay with us.
Yeah, welcome back to the Koko Digest Morning Show. And if you're just tuning in, we are continuing our online and print review segments, the extended version. And so I would like to encourage us to send in our comments to the WhatsApp number that will be displayed onto our screens, and also to our YouTube or Facebook live stream. And when the phone lines are opened, I will do well to alert us all so we can call and weigh in on some of the conversations. Now, I have here with me Peter Ansia and Bevelyn Anobil, and we are discussing some of the pressing matters at hand. And so moving straight into that, we have the acting rent commissioner who also visited some hostels in the country here in Accra, and there's a video on that, so let's take a look and then we discuss.
Today's week.
Yes.
Okay.
Come.
Okay.
Come and let's talk.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Okay.
But what I'm saying that you don't have any right to increase already.
For now. So we
Not
should-
for now. You have been making that mistake and increasing.
Okay. So now we are learning.
It's true, you are learning.
Yes.
I'm here to educate you.
You are right.
So you don't have any right whatsoever. But without talking to rent control,
Very well.
you must take your rent card.
Okay.
That every student here must be given a rent card. You remember we went to Supreme First Hostel, right? And they are taking 4,800 for in a room. Can you help me to measure the space? You were there. We have any quantity surveyor skills here. With about 10 feet. 10 feet by 4 feet.
Less than 10.
Look, let's say 10 by 4 feet. 4 in a room. They are taking 4,800. And each of the students pay electricity bill, right?
Yes.
Of 200 Ghana cedis. So 4 in a room paying 800 cedis. And 4,800 by 4 is how much? Your guesses may be good as mine. Let's do the calculation at home. This means that they are overpricing. And we believe that we need to engage them. We are here to see things to ourselves and to call them for a meeting to engage. And I believe that after the engagement, those who have outrageously increased their hostel pay will reverse it. They will reverse it. Because over the years, they believe that the law is not working. We will look at when it was established and the increment rates that have come up to date. I'm aware I'll be going there soon. Pent Hostel, or what they call it, is taking almost about 90% increment, and that is outrageous. The government, and for that matter, the rent control cannot sit down to see certain manifested. Even at the Supreme.
Today's week.
Yes.
Okay.
Come.
Okay.
Come and let's talk.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Okay.
But what I'm saying that you don't have any right to increase already.
For now. So we should-
Not for now. You have been making that mistake and increasing.
Okay. So now we are learning.
It's true, you are learning.
Yes.
I'm here to educate you.
You are right.
So you don't have any right whatsoever. But without talking to rent control,
Very well.
you must take your rent card.
Okay.
That every student here must be given a rent card.
Okay.
For 3,600 and 4,900. Wait. 3,600 plus in 4 in 1 room. Then 2 in 1 room. It's 4,900. I'm coming. At Prestige Hostel. It's big money. But I would want to understand how you got there.
Okay.
Now, I want to let you know you don't have any right whatsoever to even sit and increase your rent. It may be even be higher than what you are even charging. Based on what? But the point is, if you want to make an increment, the percentage that you added, how did you arrive at that?
Okay. Okay.
I'm told that here, students pay their own electricity.
Yes, please.
So now, taking the electricity, you are taking a whooping 4,000, 3,600, 4 in 1 room. And you are taking a whooping of 4,900, right? 2 in a room. Which means almost about 10,000 or 9,000 and 9,800 or so for 2 in a room for a semester. So for 1 year, you are taking 20,000 cities almost for that. No electricity added. So you don't have any right to do that. But because you are saying that you are now about to implement the new increment, and I've told you, tell management to suspend.
Okay.
Okay. So that if I come next time and I'm aware that you have made the increments, the consequences will be dire.
All right.
Right, so that was the acting rent commissioner, Mr. Frederick Opoku. We'll be having him here to speak with us on phone very soon. But for now, let's take a few, submissions here by my co-host. So he's cracked down on the hostel facilities, and I think when I was even looking on social media, there was a question about whether he has there's jurisdiction by the Rent Control Board or the housing authorities over hostel facilities. What do you think?
I mean, that's why you rightly said that we'll be speaking to him soon to find out about that. But with that being said, I think that he has actually walked the talk. This time around, he didn't sit in his office.
Yeah.
He actually took the initiative to go there to see for himself firsthand what is actually transpiring. And I also would like to commend the representatives of NUC for actually going that far to petition the commissioner, and also the commissioner even actually responding. And for, like you rightly said, when we speak to him, you get to find out what is actually happening on the ground, and then per the Rent Control Act, if he has the jurisdiction to carry on that. If not, what is the way forward? And then, many people also cite, about the cost of utilities and what have you.
Yeah.
And people are also saying this is a business. It is out of traditional rent control. We'll be finding out from him what he thinks about that as a rent commissioner. And so, I mean, in a nutshell, I would say that he's actually walking the talk. He's doing well. And then student representatives are also doing well. And it shouldn't be limited to only schools or hostels. Others are suffering as well. It should trickle down to various households, various landlords. People are still paying outrageous amounts for small space and what have you. And so I think going forward, we should expect more.
I'm quiet because I'm so sad when it comes to student accommodation. In fact, I've been like a victim of, private hostels being used as tools to extort money from students. Because while at school, we don't even have hostels at all. So you can just imagine the monies people are paying for private hostels. And I think it's a step in its right direction for the SRC of Legon to take this, to the next level. So we are just hoping to speak to him and then hear what they have for us this morning.
All right. So I love that he, touched on breaking down what goes into the cost of this hostel fee. He was even speaking about the space, something about 10 by something feet, all of that. Apparently, these things all come into play. And then also the fact that the utilities, because the particular hostel he visited, they are paying that much and it does not cover electricity. Now, like you mentioned the personal experience, I would also try to touch on the personal experience where the school I attended, there are hostels in there for the school. There are a few issues around those things, but the amounts we were paying covered electricity and water. So whatever it is that you are paying, you know that you are not going to spend any extra money on anything else. And even with that, during our time, I always say this, I love it so much because there was a campaign for fees must fall. So from the looks of it, when we started first year, the next year, the fee increased by about 200 or 300 cedis. So I think, when you project it into 4 years of tertiary education, it was going to increase by that amount. But by the time we got to the second year, there was that campaign for fees must fall. So the fees we paid in the second year was what we paid till we finished. I did not follow how long it took before they started increasing, but currently, as I have siblings in school, the price of that same hostel, which had not even, I don't think there's any major renovation that requires that amount.
And that is where the problem is, The hostels the facilities are not matching with the money they are paying.
Because these same hostels were what was used for the African Games, tournament. And from what I remember, or what I know actually, was that all they did was install ACs in there to make it look like, that was the designated place. But even the foreigners that came complained about it. So, and even now, the students say that the ACs are not, in use. So if you want to use the AC, then it means you have to pay extra, So it's like, if you are not doing any major renovations, you're changing some facilities, even the major renovations, does that warrant the prices that they are taking per semester, per academic year, and even the increments every year? Because it is terrible.
fact that it's even higher than annual fees. Like hostel fee alone is even
That's serious.
Do you know some of these amounts for the year? It's more than going to find your own chamber and hall and rent.
I know, yeah. That's why most
something.
people even prefer like paying for like the normal rent a year as
Because
compared to the
for
hostel
this too,
fees.
you are only paying for the academic year while you are in school. When you vacate, you need to leave the place.
Right.
You're not so if let's say you are paying for a year. The year is basically, I think a semester is about 4 months. So
exactly.
for 4 months each, that's 8 months. And we have 12 months in the year. So the rest of the 4 months left, you are not going to be occupying that space, but your money is in somebody's, coffers.
You have to immediately like evacuate or leave the ones you vacate for another.
You see, it means that if you are staying there for a longer time, since you are going to pay an increment. I have been in a hostel where the semester has, been completed and I have to stay back to do internship, which means I'm going to pay extra fees. And honestly, it's serious. If this hostel people are then they should just be giving us an apartment because
and the
seriously,
sad
I'm
part
not
is
getting
that
it.
Some of these hostels are not even closer to campuses where these students have their lectures, and so as they are paying these exorbitant prices for hostels,
they're also paying
they have to
transport.
pay transport again before they can get to their place. And that is why it is very important that government steps in, and that's the right step in the right direction. We are hoping that it yields some fruit for us, so that it wouldn't be just we'll talk about it and then within a month or week we go back to the same thing again. We should see some.
And when Yaya was making her last admission, she made mention that sometimes people even prefer to go for the normal rent, like rent for a year. But then again, in terms of security, how secure is the environment you are going to stay? But hostels, you know that is a facility for students where everybody is there. No one can come and harm anyone in any way. That is why people actually prefer to be in a hostel. So if we are trying to stay in the hostels and then breaking backs for our children to go and stay in the hostels, and you are trying to inflate hostel fees, this calls for like major concern, honestly.
Honestly, housing is something that can be a lucrative avenue, for revenue generation by the government. Where if we have affordable housing for citizens, we have, student housing also for the students. Where whether it is the school that will be, heading it or something, this is going to help a lot of people because we are in this nation where people come from. Even we have international students coming. So imagine the students coming from far and near, all coming to, use these facilities, patronize these facilities. And if these facilities are at reasonable prices, of course, people would patronize these. And then the hostels, that's the external ones or the private hostels, not necessarily to run them out of business, but they would also see the competition and now, try to reduce their prices. Because let's look at it this way. The government provides student housing. Now, this student housing comes with the basic amenities, and then also electricity and water are covered in it. Security, as you also mentioned, is covered. Compared to an external or private hostel, where after paying your hostel fees, you go and buy gas. Then you pay for electricity. Now, from what I even remember, our hostels where I used to be, there was a standby generator. So when, the ECG issues come, they will turn on the lights, but they turn them off. They turn the generator off at 10 p.m. So once you are aware of that, you charge everything you need to charge. We were also using electric cookers. They didn't want any fire outbreak issues, so we didn't have to worry about gas. You had electric burners and all of that. You cook your meals, you heat up your meals, whatever you need to do. By 10 p.m., the generator has gone off. That is fairly okay as compared to the, the private or the external hostels where after paying for the electricity, after paying for your gas, what is the likelihood of the standby generator even to be able to help you? Because students need to study and all of that. But with the government one, you can see that, okay, by 10 p.m., the generator will be turned off. So you get ample time to do at least 2-3 hours of study. By 10, this is mandated, you just go and sleep because there's literally nothing else to do in the darkness. Now, coming back to these private hostels, why are they doing this? These are students, so they don't have any money. It's just chop money.
The issue is that whenever demand is high and supply is, we don't just have it. That's what happens. People tend to exploit.
But then that's greediness.
It is.
Even
so
it goes to the extent that people even when they have to stay for extra days, they
have to
take
pay
money.
extra fee.
Yeah.
So that is why
that's
the
how
laws
bad it has come to
needs
be.
to work. We need to enforce the laws. You know, with every university, I know they made provisions for accommodation or what have you. But right now we can't control because the numbers keeps increasing. The numbers keeps increasing.
Or there are some universities that don't even have hostels at all. So you can just imagine.
Yeah. So in as much as government will do its parts, we still need the private ones. But just that we just have to control how, you know. And so that's why. So I mean, going forward, I think this has been the talk of the country for a very long time. And then this is when we've seen a step being taken. So as time goes on, we'll get to find out. So we cannot take away the private sector from it. The private sector needs to be in operation. Yes. And it needs to be regulated, like you said. We have the laws. We just have to enforce them. Right now, as to whether the rent control has, you know, power over those, you know, businesses, we'll get to find out. If they don't have, then we have to do the necessary thing. Because now we are calling for, you know, people to go to school. Is it free education or something to get to the highest level? And this can serve as a barrier to, you know, higher education. Because for a student or for a parent to think of paying exorbitant prices for the safety of his or her ward and also paying additional fee. Now you have to pay, you know, transport fee. You have to, like, what the child is going to take, a whole lot of books and what have you. So if you put all these, you know, amounts together, parents are actually suffering. Imagine parents with 2 or 3 kids.
And all these kids are also in the university.
It's serious.
And you know, patching is also not allowed. So, you can't even say, okay, our big brother Peter is in, you know, so and so hostel. So, you know, both of us can go in. No, you can't. If you are caught, there will be an issue. And even another issue also linked to the security is storage. For the government hostels that I know of, I remember that back in school too, when you vacate, if you don't, you know, have the luxury of carrying all your stuff home, especially after first semester where you know, okay, the vacation is not that long, there were provisions made where you will pack your, you know, I want to say accoutrements. Yes, you pack your belongings and then you label it with your name, your room number, your ID number, and it is stored for you. Do the private facilities or private hostels have these, you know, available for students?
I know of a particular hostel. When you want to leave even your belongings when you're going, you pay.
You have to pay.
Yeah.
Come on.
So
that's what it has gotten into.
Irrespective of this, we have some parents who can afford those ones. And so, I mean, in as much as we are calling for the reduction, we have some parents who think that their wards need to get a better place. I know some students who actually are, you know, renting a place. The amounts I can't mention with the equipment and whatever inside. We know those people are there, but it shouldn't be generalized. There are some people that cannot afford those outrageous amounts, and so it needs to be regulated, like you said. And I like the fact that when the acting rent commissioner went to these places, most of them were running away, according to him, because they actually know what they are doing. They know that what they are doing is wrong. And so they had to, you know, find their way. I just like the step the rent commissioner took. And he also said that he was going to go back there. And so this is just a warning. If you know you're doing something wrong, sit down, ensure that you do the right calculations and come out with a meaningful, you know, price.
And the people who also own these facilities would say that inflation.
Yeah, but then when you do the calculations, so like he said, when you do the calculations, you can actually find the balance. You see, every semester they increase, and when you look at the difference, sometimes, excuse my words, it doesn't tally.
It's serious.
Let's say this semester you're taking, let's say 4-5. The following semester it can balloon to like 5 something.
I have been a victim of this rent issue because. My school, I will mention the name, Unimark IJ. Unimark IJ doesn't have hostels. So imagine somebody coming from all the way from Kaswa or even coming from Eastern region. And we'll have to even cross, look at the main road between Fiesta Royal all the way through to Accra Mall. we have had instances where students had to even cross the road and they die just because of transport issues and this accommodation.
There's also a school of thought about that says that it is not necessarily the school's mandate or what's the school's responsibility, to provide housing for students. The school, you're just going there to study. Because I think I had this conversation with a friend some time back where he was telling me that when you go abroad, most of the schools don't have housing, like the school's housing, which is hostels or halls or what have you. They are all outside of the school and all of that. And it's just that, okay, maybe in Ghana and maybe some other countries, these things have been provided. But when we are trying to talk about this issue, we may not necessarily have to blame the schools too much. This issue right now is more linked to the people who have decided, okay, we are meeting a need, but now this need we are meeting is creating a bigger problem for the people, so that we don't put any school on blast, because the school is just
not school. I'm not trying to say the school, but I'm just in that government
mentioned your school, and as the school was established, it was established just for teaching and learning, right? At a certain time. Now, obviously, Unimac IJ is starting to expand and all of that. It's now a conglomerate of three schools together now. And I'm sure that with time, as the demand or the interest or influx of students is also increasing, they would, start looking into housing. Comparing it to a school like University of Ghana, considering how big it is, considering the number of students and even look at how vast the land is, all the faculties and all of that, it made sense that they would also try to provide a few. And from the beginning of the school's establishment till now, obviously it started with the 5 traditional halls as we know it, then the expansions came about. So it is more of something, maybe I'll just put it at the ethics of it, that okay, we know we have this many students, some of them are also coming from far, so let's try to help them, but we cannot hold the school accountable for that. It's the people who own these hostels, they are the ones being wicked.
But some schools that also provide accommodation for students are also corporates. They also charge exorbitant prices. So no matter what, whether you are mandated to do or not, once you find yourself there, just charge the normal prices.
Okay, so we have Mr. Frederick Opoku, the acting rent commissioner, on the line. Hello, sir.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine, thank you. I hope you're well too.
I am really, by the grace of God.
Glad to hear. So Peter has a few questions for you with regards to the trending video of you at some of the hostels talking about the price that the students are made to pay for accommodation. Peter, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir, for joining us this morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. So, like my colleague rightly stated, we heard that yesterday you went to most of the university schools to check the hostel facilities and what have you, following the petition presented to you by Nooks. This morning, we want to find out what exactly you observe on the grounds and what specific regulations on the Rent Act did you identify?
Okay, very well. So let me say a very big thank you to Club TV for having me this morning. And I want to extend my greetings to everyone who is listening to us this morning, all your listeners and viewers. Yes, as you already mentioned, we were petitioned by Nooks, and their petition wanted us to intervene, to investigate and see what we can do with respect to the hostel fees. So, as a regulator and law-abiding person, legitimately, we saw Nooks petition as full of allegations. We needed to do a fact-finding to actually ascertain and identify the reality of the situation. So that took control and myself to some hostels that we had wanted to take attention institutions in the rest of the level UPSA and Wisconsin University.
Okay.
But that was not on our side. We had to do two of them. This is UPSA and University of Ghana. And what we found yesterday was sad, was worrying. And for me, I think that it better take urgent action before things get out of hand. I know things are almost out of hand. It is better they have advanced, we have seen, we have felt it, and we think there's something else to be done about it. Now, what I know is that, now, if you talk about hostels here, hostels are registered, and they are monitored by the tourism authority, ensure that they are fit for purpose. For rent control and the Rent Act, we are close with authority and the power to make sure that whenever you are fixing your rent or your fees, with respect to hostel, it's about rent. Rent control is the only institution that is close with mandate and authority to ensure that we have in a nation that you fix prices of fees that will not be at anybody. In this case, we are expected to do assessment. And the assessment will let us know what have you put into the building, how are you managing it, what is the maintenance culture, and everything that is around it. That is necessitating you willing and wanting to charge X or Z amount of money. When we all do the assessment and we realize that whatever you are saying is not legitimate, that will enable you to function, that will enable you to meet the needs of the people and to achieve the goal by making your profit margin, then you can come out with something that will be fair to the tenant or to your student and to the property owner. In this case, the hotel better. But to sit down and be increasing your rent when that you want to eat without any certificate, which the law has made it that you cannot increase rent, you cannot even add anything to hotel fees without rent control also affects. Rent control is free assessment. We don't give studies and we don't do anything. Ours is to assess and to make sure that you are doing the right thing. We have the responsibility to ensure that the tenant lives comfortably. You don't take the tenant's money or the student's money, but you didn't put him in the hostel that he feels uncomfortable. However, what happened yesterday, I was asked, one right issue. I went and even measured my food. 10 people at 8 feet, 4 in a room. And they were taking 4,800, 8,000, 7,500, and so forth and so on. A student in the room. And that was outrageously high. Now, because of this, students are crying. No ventilation. Everything is in its array. As far as footage is concerned, rent control is done now. Enough is enough. We are up and doing and want to do what the law requires us to do. And we want all hotel operators to conform. It's about I build my thing and I can tell whatever I want to charge. That one, the point is that either they will reduce it when we are going to do an engagement with them next week, or you will be allowed, or we will not be allowed, you will go and help to do an assessment. And based on assessment, we can come out with prices of the hostel that will be fair to the operator, that will be fair to the students, and that parents who are paying the money will also feel like they are being treated fairly. We want equity. Equity for the hostel operators, equity for the students, and equity for parents. In this case, government has a responsibility through the rent control and the Ministry of Work and Housing. And I, as acting commissioner, will do the level I can do within the confines of law, not by my power, not by any kind of thing that will do to invest. The thing that will let them operate in a fair environment. Things that will not make them feel like they are exploiting people. When they do this, rent control will be afraid to go with them.
All right, sir. Many also argue that these are commercial businesses outside traditional rent control. How do you respond, and where is the legal line?
They are saying, what is traditional here? We are talking about law, we are talking about tradition. What is tradition? Hostels, you have rented the hostel that you are taking people's money in rent. But don't let's bring the word confusion hostel. Come and confuse anything here. The hostel, I don't know taking rent or money for hosting them.
Yeah.
You are hosting them and you are taking the money. If you go out and rent, are you not hosting the people in your premises? So don't let them bring that semantic hostel and so on. The point is that you are private hotel, you build it for your business, and you must be regulated. The same thing happens. It's a commercial property. It is for free. How should we allow you to be your own as a private man? Whenever you build a property and you are renting out and say that I'm a hotel because tourism authority doesn't have any power, authority whatsoever to be setting prices for you. That's where they are limited. They can register you. Make sure that you are keeping the place tidy, clean and tenantable. But if it comes to pricing and assessment, it falls within the purview and the authority of rent control. That's why we are taking that exercise, my brother.
So, please, is this going to be a nationwide operation or just basically for people in Accra?
It's going to be nationwide. I know people are crying, KPUSD, go to across the country in there, and everybody is crying. These issues of hotel, people are watching the system across the country. It's unfortunate that rent control doesn't have the resources to do, but I can assure you, if we have to go out and plead and get resources, beg people to help us to do. People who believe that it's a noble cause. We are very philanthropists who will be willing that this is a good attempt and they will be able to help. We will even go and beg them if we don't have resources to do. Because this is very important. We are protecting people's rights. We are defending and protecting people not to be exploited. And anyone who believes that rent control needs our support, if it comes for aid, we will not even abandon it. But no matter the situation, no matter what the hindrance will be, this is a very important exercise, and we will do everything possible to get resources to do it.
All right, now talking about the resources, many people have argued, like you rightly said, what are the most challenging internal, problems that you have currently that you need government or private institutions to help you with?
Oh, definitely. I've said about that time. Rent control, we don't have vehicles. Rent control is a department that have only 2 vehicles across the country, and that's a constraint. So if I want to embark, going to party and moving, how do I go? Do I go alone? It's not done. We need use of vehicle. Move. If people are going to do assessment, how do they go to do the assessment? These are all clear-cut, ill-resourced institutions, and we are privy. And we know that even private people who believe in what we do, if donate, will take it to do it to help, because we are building Mother Ghana. And it must not be only the government. Institutions, philanthropists can come to the aid, because it's about protecting, it is social protection. And anybody who believes in social protection should do something about it. Resources should be a key for us to deny people's services in this country. And I believe the ministry is working hard. The president is serious about resourcing, and I believe they will do what they can do. We ask it me. More mitigation doesn't spoil anything. So we are so urgent. We are still ill-resourced, and we need people to come for aid to help us to carry this important mandate.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Frederick. Let's come back to the hostel managers. What are the punitive measures available for those who would refuse to go directly to what rent control actually would want them to do? What are the punitive measures?
You close your hostel down.
Okay.
Simple as that. I won't talk much about it. We will always take with the meeting. We let you know what the law is. But you cannot operate in a system where the law is not working and you work under the law. And say that I won't obey the law. You better close your hostel.
All right. So please, when are we seeing your next visit again? Is there any timeline?
We are planning. First of all, next week, I'm doing everything with the rent control to make sure we can get a people that we are going to let them letter by the close of this week. Invite them by this week, Wednesday or Thursday, so that we can meet the facility operators. Sit down with them, let them know the structure of the law, and see if they can come together, they can have an assessment, or they can stop now without making any more increment. Until we're able to paralyze it and assess, then we are good to correct and we move forward.
All right, lastly, before you go, is there any possible refund after the assessment and everything for those who have already paid?
There won't be any refund. I won't provide anyone. That has been perpetuated, fine. I still they did it illegitimately. People also paid willingly. But we have come saying it's not right. So either we will review it downwards, that we cannot increase again, or we cannot do assessment willingly and set new prices for them. So it's a move forward.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Before you go, your last words to our viewers, people watching you this morning.
Come again?
Before you go, your last words to our viewers, people who are watching you, students and parents.
Ghana is a country of laws. So I pray that as we are about to engage the hostel operators across the country, they should understand and meet us. I believe that we want to protect also them for them to work and operate legally. And I think they cooperate, we can work in unison and we can achieve something significantly mutually together so that hostel operators will be happy, students will be happy, and alike, mothers, parents, and everybody who is involved, who is suffering out of this exploitation, will also be happy.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time this morning. Over to you.
Right, so that was Mr. Frederick Opoku, the Acting Commissioner for the Rent Control. And as we can see, he is very passionate. I think he's the best man for this job. And we're hoping, we support him. We're hoping that he gets all the necessary resources and backing to undertake this initiative. We have a few comments here. This one is from, this is on WhatsApp. I think the name here is How. So he says the hostel fees are too much, but some schools too, it's okay. Koforidua Technical University is having hostels which cost 4,000 and 5,000 Ghana cedis. I think it's because of the location and the cost of living around those areas. Then we also have another one. This one is from Nano. He says, hello, good morning. Please, I'm a student of KINAST or Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and I want to talk a bit about the hostel fees. The prices are huge, and the sad part is the fact that most of them do no renovations whatsoever during the vacation. It's worse with the hostels close to campus. It's as if they have the mindset of the students would want accommodations close to campus, so they would pay any amount for the hostel and the likes. It's very disturbing. Please let the commissioner come to the Ashanti region as well. Yes, so as we spoke to the commissioner, he says that it's going to be a nationwide, exercise. So we're hoping that very soon he will enter the Ashanti region and then do justice there as well. Yes. Final words on this rent issue before we proceed.
Yeah, the acting commissioner said it all. So we are just hoping that, like you rightly said, he gets the necessary resources, like he stated, to embark on this exercise, because this is something on the heart of Ghanaians.
Yeah. Right.
And then I would like to add that the hostel managers should just comply, because at this point we all saw from how the rent committee commissioner spoke that they are really going to be strict this time around. So let's hope that they comply so that everything will come back to.
All right. And for those asking if rent control has any jurisdiction over hostel facilities, we heard the commissioner mention that it is rent regardless. The students rent the place for a period of time, so it still falls under that jurisdiction. So let's take note. However commercial or not, it is still rent. So let's keep that in mind so that when they crack down on you, you know it's by law. So yes, the next issue is the fact that the no-bed syndrome, the medical neglect, is what caused the death of Mr. Charles Emisa. This is what the investigative committee has found. So again, I think, when was it? Was it on Tuesday or last week that we talked about this no-bed syndrome killing a mother and her unborn child? And now Mr. Charles Emisa's, the probing into his death has also, the findings says that it is also because of the no-bed syndrome. So there's a video on that. Let's take a look briefly and then we discuss.
The medical staff on duty at the police hospital, Greater Accra Regional Hospital, and Kolebu Teaching Hospital failed to attend to Charles Emisa when he was in a life-threatening condition, and this led to his avoidable death. Specific recommendations. Dr. Anne-Marie Kudewo should be referred to the management of police hospital and to the Medical Intensive Council for disciplinary action against her for breach of professional duty to Charles Emisa and for being untruthful to the committee. Dr. Nina Naomi Ezram Adotevi should be referred to the management of Greater Accra Regional Hospital as their employer. They have oversight, administrative and management disciplinary processes that they must go through, and the Medical and Dental Council for disciplinary action against her for breach of professional duty to Charles Emisa. Dr. Ida Durant should be referred to the management of Kolebu Teaching Hospital and Medical and Dental Council for disciplinary action against her for breach of professional duty to Charles Emisa. Dr. Genevieve Ajar should be referred to the management of Kolebu Teaching Hospital and Medical and Dental Council for disciplinary action against her for breach of professional duty to Charles Emisa. Ms. Akosia B. Texan should be referred to the management of Greater Accra Regional Hospital and to the Nurses and Midwives Council for disciplinary action against her for breach of professional duty to Charles Emisa. Ms. Joy Daisy Nelson should be referred to the management of Kolebu Teaching Hospital and the Nurses and Midwives Council for disciplinary action against her for breach of professional duty to Charles Emisa. Ms. Salamatu Al-Hassan Edu should be referred to Kolebu Teaching Hospital and Nurses and Midwives Council for disciplinary action against her for breach of professional duty.
I want to accordingly direct my Chief Director, the Chief Director of the Ministry of Health, to write to the following people, the following health professionals and their hospitals and their regulators, that disciplinary actions be taken against them. 1. Dr. Anne-Marie Kudo should be referred to the Police Hospital and the Medical and Dental Council with immediate effect. Dr. Nina Naomi Iran, the Greater Accra Regional Hospital and the Medical and Dental Council. Dr. Ida Durant be referred to Kolebu Teaching Hospital and the Medical and Dental Council. I understand some of these facilities have already started disciplinary actions against some of these people, and I'll urge them to expedite action on them, and their respective regulators must also do same. Dr. Genevieve Aja must also be referred to Kolebu Teaching Hospital and Medical and Dental Council. Ms. Akosia B. Texan must be referred to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital and then NMC. Ms. Joy Daisy Nelson, Kolebu Teaching Hospital and NMC. Ms. Salamatu Ahassan Beidu must also be referred to Kolebu Teaching Hospital and NMC. I want.
Right, so in the first video, we saw the chairperson of the investigative committee, Professor Ajimambedu Akosa, who was also, telling us his findings and then the recommendations. The second video was with the health minister. We have Honorable Minta Akando also speaking on what is going to be done next. So, yes, Charles Emisa is an engineer who worked with Promasidor Ghana, and he suffered some quite, severe injuries in a hit-and-run accident, and then ended up losing his life because of the same no-bed syndrome. And this is very sad. Our condolences and our heartfelt wishes are with the family of Mr. Charles Emisa. We're glad that, the people who, in a way, were responsible will be facing some, punitive action so that it will serve as a deterrent to others, because this no-bed syndrome is becoming something that is even causing more people to lose their lives, rather than even attend to them wherever, even if it's in a chair, attend to them so that at least you can spare them an unwarranted death,
The fact that the committee described it as an avoidable death, it breaks my heart. And then, I don't know what the family might have been going through after this, report. And so, like you rightly said, this no-bed syndrome is claiming so many lives. A 70-year-old man also died, I think in 2018, with that same issue. And I remember when it became, so intense, they had a debate in Parliament with the minority accused and all that. The health minister came out to say that it is illegal for any health facility to reject, a patient because there is no bed. no matter what, just accept like the person and then, treat the person. And then with this incident like this, we have to commend the ambulance service, those who took the body from the scene to the hospital. They did their best. And then we are told that they went through 4 hospitals. 4. These are big hospitals that we have. And then looking at the names, I mean...
They've already been mentioned.
You understand? It's very sad. Something that is avoidable. Something that is avoidable. It means that when they get to this hospital, we don't have bed. Then they have to take attend to the person, at least first aid. You understand? When I was going through the report, I was like, are we safe in this country? There are times, and this incident happened as late as 10:30 p.m. thereabout. And so he was declared dead around 12
So
a.m.
that was 2 hours of him
2
just
hours.
suffering.
Roaming about in 4 hospitals. He went to the police hospital, Kolebu. I mean, there's no bed, so you won't attend to the person.
Hospital.
What happens to passion for the job? Sometimes we talk about these things and we are not allowed to talk about the people involved, the professionals. But then sometimes issues like this, we've all been to hospitals, and if people are to call to share their testimony, some of our professionals, some of our doctors, their behavior towards patients is very bad. We understand that each and everyone has his or her issues. But then when it comes to work, I mean, sometimes the way some of them behaves, it's very sad. If you are to open phone lines right now for people to tell you their experiences, others are doing very well. Others too are not working well at all. And so right now, it has become so risky that right now, if you fall sick right now, it is very difficult. You go to the hospitals, even when beds are available, some are saying you'd have to even pay something before you get a bed. You go there, they will tell you there's no bed. Right now, they look at you, the personality, they look at your status. When you come, they see that you're somebody in society. The way they attend to you is different as compared to an ordinary person who goes there. You go there and they tell you there's no bed. But if you're able to find your way through, they'll give you bed right now. What is happening in our hospitals? Today this, tomorrow that. Our hospitals in this country have been in the news for the past 1 year now. Every day we hear this. Last week it was laboratory physicians versus laboratory scientists.
Fighting over.
A whole lot. What is happening in our sector? People are dying.
Coming to the legal aspect of these things, I love it so much that he usually visits here. He talks about the medical negligence. That's lawyer Libert Mamhesi. And he's always advocating for people to, be educated more on medical negligence and, how you can also do something about it. Because when we compare, even with the Western world, one of the main reasons or one of the main things that keeps them in check is the fact that they can easily be sued. You can go as far as to sue for even wrong administration of medication because that medicine could have cost you your life. Right. And if a lot more Ghanaians are aware, a lot more hospitals and institutions are aware of the fact that you can easily be sued about this, they will take their, practices more seriously. They will be more ethical in their, in their daily activities with or interactions with patients. Because if now, considering that these findings have come out, and let's say Charles Emisa's family is aware that they can sue, they can do ABC. Now, like you said, even from the reports, 4 different hospitals, and they all turned him away. Now, if these families or this family decides to sue the first, second, all the hospitals, and, based on, the findings, the judge also awards them with, they're supposed to settle or pay. Do you know how much is going to cost the hospital? When they think about that, when the hospital administrators think about, no, all of this is going to be causing us financial loss, you realize that they would, be a little more stringent in their dealings. They would actually encourage their employees to actually adhere to the Hippocratic Oath, adhere to basic morals and ethics in treating patients so that you will not cause us financial loss. Because I remember even when Lawyer Libert was here, he was even talking about the fact that sometimes you can sue that singular health professional, that if that person did something to you that cost you your life or caused some sort of lifelong damage to you or something, you can sue him or her. And then also if the hospital, he gave some parameters, I think we may have to get him back one of these days so that we can learn a little more about or get a refresher course on medical negligence and how to navigate it, because it's becoming too much. You just turn patients away. We don't have any what's the name? We don't have any beds, so go. And nothing happens to them.
For hospitals is
It is.
I don't understand. Honestly.
It doesn't make sense.
And I don't know whether we should attribute this to system failure, because this is not the first time we've had instances where people are dying and then they are being refused treatment. And honestly, Yara, I'm so sad and hurt, and I don't know what right words to use this morning.
You see,
sometimes it could also be these professionals we say that sometimes they are overworked, they are understaffed, and so it tends to cause them to treat patients anyhow, but it is not an excuse.
But what happens to, we mostly say health practitioners have this kind of how do you call it, hearts or empathy. So where is that?
Gone are the days when.
When is that?
You see, I can say our system is not working. When the issue about the midwives issue, we heard about some medical term triage or something. The process when it's
when you come in and they check your vitals, all that.
Even before you get to the doctor, they check everything and ensure that they give you that first aid, so that you can, it can sustain you even before you get to. All these systems are not working. And then I remember when the issue about Kolebu came, when one social activist went to Kolebu to fight, and then the minister was addressing, I've forgotten his name. There was this issue about Kolebu Teaching Hospital. One was denied, care. There's this popular activist. That issue came up.
Was it not Rich?
Rich, yes, Rich.
What's his name? Something William also.
Yes, so when the health minister was addressing, the public, he made mention of something. He said, Ghana spends or pay out approximately 10 million Ghana cedis annually on medical negligence cases alone.
Do you know it can be a lot more if more Ghanaians are aware that when the hospital behaves a certain way or medical staff, they will lose more money, and maybe it will be a wake-up call.
It is serious. And that is why I would commend the health minister and the Ministry of Health for this initiative. For first of all, they didn't sleep on it as usual, that it happens and then we are just there.
I think recently they even donated some beds to the Kolebu teaching hospital. Like recently, that's what I saw on social media. But then this thing could have been avoided, honestly, because somebody being hit by a car and the person was bleeding. You couldn't do any first aid, something to hold the person for something. Just tell the person to leave.
And there's a whole, department called Accidents and Emergency, also A&E, yes. And it is emergency. So the person has suffered injuries, like you're saying, he's bleeding, and then you say he should go. So what about at least bandaging him up or something?
Exactly. So I'm just happy that they are taking a law action against
We have a comment here. This one is from Armstrong. He says, "Good morning, Clock TV. Thank you for your good services. Please, I have analyzed the cause of our problems in Ghana here.
Tell us.
It's the basis for it is the basis for every weakness in our country's laws. People don't get punished for wrongdoing. First thing you see is talk to someone. The moment the phone is passed on, case dies. So, people are not punished when they do the wrong thing. I think I agree with that, because there are so many scandals from the top down to the bottom that we talk about it and then 5 minutes later we're on to the next issue. Like we're about to move to the next issue.
Before we move to the next issue, I want to read out this from the report. So the core conclusion was that the death resulted from medical negligence, not the immediate trauma from the accident. So pathology showed a slow death. Timely intervention at any facility would likely have saved his
life.
You see, so failures in emergency triage, stabilization and referral protocols across the involved hospitals, the police hospital, Kolebu.
These are the main big hospitals we have.
And
so if they are
treated like-
rejecting them, where do you want him to go? That's the question I asked when I saw the report. If you are rejecting them as the big hospitals who could have helped, and you are pushing them away, where did you want them to go?
So, like I rightly stated, I will commend the health minister and the health ministry for this very initiative. And it shouldn't end there. They should be updating us on how far they've gone with those involved in this case, so that it wouldn't be as though they've come up with a report, they've mentioned names, and we don't know what is happening. Like what is happening in some cases that we have. I don't know if I should go there in some cases that we have. And so the ministry should give us more updates, and so that this will serve as a deterrent to others. Those who are intentional, who say, this is my job, this is where I do whatever thing I want, and allow people to die, it will serve as a deterrent to them.
They should be ashamed of themselves, honestly, because you call yourself a health worker, and then you cannot provide services for what exactly are you doing in the hospital, honestly?
And for me, I think I would say that the authorities, the health ministry should not just limit it to specific people. Yeah. It should be everybody, because, I mean, we spoke about that very disheartening story of the Kaswa issue where the lady who was to give birth was turned away and she died along with the baby. There should be some probing in there. There should be something done, to the hospital, to the staff there as well. It shouldn't just be when we hear of certain people, like even with speaking on Charles Emisa, this is not to say, this is not that it is wrong or anything, but we know that, okay, he worked with Promasidor Ghana, so maybe they pushed for it. But what about the ordinary Ghanaian?
Not to even cut you short, but then to add up, some reports shows that his father is a wealthy man who actually donates to some of these hospitals and what have you. And then, I like the fact that because they knew their right, they pushed for it.
So for the ordinary citizen who may not know his or her rights, when things like this happen and they trend, I think that maybe there should be this investigative committee should work for everybody, from the rich to the poor. Everybody deserves some sort of, ease and closure with these things, some investigation. Even if they can be advised to sue, to get some medical, some money for whatever, some damages, yes, to pay for damages. Like with the Kaswa lady, had the baby been born and her family was able to be educated on suing and all of that, they sued and all of that, that money could be used to cater for the child, at least to an extent. I just realized somebody is calling the WhatsApp number. Please, this number is solely for WhatsApp. The phone lines, when they are opened, I'll let you. So please send only messages and your WhatsApp messages or SMSs here so that I can read them to you. I cannot answer the call. Now, moving on, sadly, another death, or should I say deaths. 2 deaths were recorded in the Upper West region as 2 BEC candidates were killed in road accidents. In a road accident, and the Ghana Education Service is mourning that. And so a tragic road accident in Upper West region has claimed the lives of 2 BEC candidates on their way to write exams, and it's sparking renewed concerns about student safety, transportation, and access to education in Ghana. And it now comes to one of the issues that is really on my heart, which is that as much as, the country, it's in our laws that every child is entitled to free, compulsory, universal, basic education, we don't seem to have as much resources, to meet up with that rule. Yeah. Because why are students still traveling to go and write BEC?
And that's why I agree with the people who gets angry when we tend to politicize everything in this country.
You yourself, you are one of them.
The e-blogs that were meant to increase access to senior high schools in deprived areas, they were left abandoned because of political reasons. These are some of the same reasons. So it means that brings me to one of the root causes: lack of examination centers in remote areas and long distance travel. At the first place, why should a young candidate even travel just to go and write exams?
And this is, you see, we sometimes get carried away because free SHS came and became so popular, we forget about the basic education. We don't have enough basic schools. Because why are BC candidates traveling to go to school? So what happens when they are going to SHS?
Because
ideally, basic education or these basic schools should be all over the place, everywhere, more than at least, let me just even say 5 in a district, for starters, where every child around, because it's free, compulsory, universal basic education. This is something in our laws, right? And yet, look at what's happening.
In fact, when you go to the public schools, the JHS primary, you can have about over 100 students in a class. That should tell you that there are not enough schools. Okay, they are not enough. Okay, they are public schools, right? But they are not enough. Over 100 students in a school, JHS, Form 1, Form 2, even Form 1 is like over 100 students. Just imagine Form 2, over 100 students. Form 3, how many people are going to be registered to write the exams? So, like Yara said, I just hope that they can, bring us
a
more.
lot of attention should also be given to the basic education.
Exactly.
As much as it was given to even the senior high schools.
Yeah.
Yes, E-blocks and all of that were constructed. But have we heard of any new basic schools that are being constructed or renovated? I think we do hear of renovations here and there, one classroom block or something here and there. But actual schools constructed in these communities. Because for a road accident to happen, it means that the distance, I don't think it is maybe from here to Tema Station.
No.
But it was definitely, some distance.
Yeah,
and these are young children, below, give or take, I think 14, 13, 14. Okay, so below 16 years. Some of them may be older, but that is the general, age. And they're already having to travel this distance. Whatever they've learned, will it even be in their head by the time they get there?
You're even putting that aside. For the past 2 years now, I've observed something. And last Monday, when I was coming with my colleague, they started the exams on Monday. Everywhere you see these students around without any supervision. You will see them crossing the road without any teacher or somebody who is controlling them. They are just out there. You will see them in groups without control, with this heavy traffic and busy road Accra that we have here. People are rushing to go to offices. Drivers want to go like as many as 4 or 5 times within that morning to get an amount. And we see kids, we see these candidates all by themselves crossing roads. And when I saw it, I was sad. I was like, where are the teachers? Who is responsible for these kids? Who ensures that these kids move from where they are, their current location, to their exam centers? They just leave them, and you see them in different uniforms. These will cross it, this will cross it. How many drivers at that time would even notice that they are writing exams, and so there's a possibility of case crossing and all that? One mistake can claim the lives of maybe 4 or 5. And it was that bad. I was asking myself, where are their teachers? Who is responsible? Who is taking them to their various centers? Is it that they show them there and they are allowed to cross roads anyhow? A very busy place. And so some of these things, they should take it into consideration. And as we talk about the death, in as much as we think that is avoidable, we can also talk about, we can't ignore road crashes. And I have some statistics here. I know we spoke about this about a week or 2 ago. National fatalities in 2025, Ghana recorded 2,949 road deaths in 14,743 crashes, the highest in 35 years. And then children and youth. So children are disproportionately affected. From 2019 to 2021, 952 Ghanaian children died in road crashes, including 434 aged 10 to 17. In the first half of 2024 alone, 149 children and teenagers under 18 lost their lives. So, I mean, it's very serious that we need to take into consideration some of these things. Now, because of time, let me conclude by saying that we have to tackle the root causes, of which of course, you've mentioned one, that is the lack of examination centers.
in
I
actual
think,
schools.
Exactly. I think so. Going forward, they should make provisions for that so that these kids wouldn't travel the long distance just because they are going to write exams.
Right.
And like you rightly
because
said,
they have
it is in our
centers.
constitution.
Yeah, there could be schools, but they have particular centers that they write these exams.
In our time, we have to travel.
Yeah, if these centers are also, at certain distances, then if it is GES, if it is, Ministry of Education, there should be buses provided for these students.
Exactly.
Right. Because, just like the WAEC, people write this in their various schools, but with the BEC, some have to move.
Okay,
yeah.
I think my school was a center. But regardless, we need more schools. Because growing up, your home and your school was not too far. So if you leave your home and don't go home and take it. And you can see the kids just walking to school, walking home. It was beautiful. But having to travel, and this is just for the centers, but looking at the rural areas, we know that this is something that happens there where students walk miles or have to board how many cars to get access to schools. Because of time, I also even wanted to touch on the fact that the roads in our rural areas are also very, very poor, and it could also be a contributing factor. But our time has run out. This conversation was quite a passionate one. Thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you so much, Mr. Frederick Opoku, for also educating us on your next initiatives for the rent. And then also, thank you so much for sending in your comments as well. We hope that everything we discuss here will be taken under advisement by the stakeholders and the necessary authorities. Thank you so much for joining us. Do have a good weekend ahead. We'll see you bright and early on Tuesday morning. Thank you.